Dun 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 dun. Boom boom ba 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 boom boom ba 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 boom boom ba 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 boom. Da 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 da. Oh shit, that's Star Trek. Dun dun doo 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 boom boom boom. Pew 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 pew.
Well, that just is so much to unpack at one time. I don't know what the fuck just happened. Happy Friday, I think. What just... Chris Clark, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PJ Campbell Network. I am PJ Campbell. We are happy to have you here for another watch along in Rian Johnson month and our 21st watch along. So at this point, if you've been here since the beginning, we are now old enough to drink, which I think quite a few people might actually do tonight, which will be fun. But we are really happy to have you guys here, and it's Last Jedi. There's going to be a lot to talk about. And with me, as always, Evan Degraff. Hey, man.
What the fuck?
What just happened?
The oh shit, that's Star Trek. Threw me through a loop. The fact that he layered himself, I think it's 3 different vocal tracks I heard, and it's mixed horribly, which is fine. Shout out to Chris Clark. The fact that he's willing to mix himself like that. What a fucking lad. But what the fuck? He told us not to watch it.
The pew pew really sold it at the end. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, the worst part is, and he did this before, he told us not to watch it beforehand, and we really should have, because now I don't know what the fuck is anymore. Yeah, exactly. I can't breathe. Anyways, before we get going, before we talk about this magnificent film, I'm going to lay down a couple of ground rules, because fuck all y'all. If you guys, are mean in the chat, if I see any slurs or anything like that, I'm going to have to boot you. I'm in charge of that chat today. You guys are mean, rude, disrespectful, either to us or to each other. You get the boot. Got it?
That's cool. Just that tonight. Like, I hate to throw that down, because normally we're really relaxed here. We really don't care what everyone says in the chat. But for whatever reason, this movie just brings the absolute worst out of people. So, be cool. Just be cool.
But talking about being cool, we have some announcements to make. Family Game Night, number 8. It's happening tomorrow. Pictionary, Uno. We got some special guests that we haven't completely lined up yet, but they're special, and so it's the show. So make sure you guys are there for that. And then there might be a PJ Campbell show on Sunday. I know you've been a little swamped. There is.
Yeah,
we're doing
Max
a PJ
and I are
going
to do it. Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
We're going to be talking about the Snyder Cut and director's cuts of movies. There's a whole lot to break down, so that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Max and a couple of the others are going to be on, so we'll make it happen.
That's the fat tea. And then on Monday, we're watching an animated film called Atlantis. I'm actually really stoked for this because I haven't seen this movie before.
I can't believe you've never seen this before.
Nothing but great things about it. So I'm really excited to see a new movie with y'all. Tuesday, I forgot to announce this. I'm actually interviewing one of the bigger prominent names in Smash right now. Cyrus Cat. He is a tournament organizer out in Gainesville, Florida. But his impact because of COVID-19 and all of the stuff has really sparred really long, and a lot of the stuff that's happening online, he is setting the new standard for. So I'm super excited to actually talk to Cyrus about this, because he's a really cool guy and he's super knowledgeable about this space. And then come Wednesday, we have Suddenly Soundtracks happening. If I can find it, it's a big old graphic. Take a screenshot, take a picture, do what you have to do. It's a lot to take in. But it's there. I think the next one is Phantom of the Paradise with Mark Hewitt, Rachel Silvestrini, and I want to say it's a video Drew I see. Yes. So make sure you guys check that out. And then last but not least, there's another Front Center Menazine. I don't think you guys have your guest secured yet, but when you guys do, you guys are going to announce it.
Well, just watch this week's also, because it was incredible. Yeah. We've gotten a lot of really amazing feedback. Preston Max Allen is arguably one of the best people I've ever had the like pleasure of talking to in any space. Like, it was such a great interview. If you guys haven't checked it out, even if you don't like theater, it's a great interview. I've had a lot of people who have said they don't even care about theater in the way that Maxwell and I do, and they learned a lot and enjoyed it. So I would really hope you guys check it out.
And then I think that kind of puts us where we are, PJ. Again, I'm gonna say this once. I'm the one controlling the chat, so
be cool. Just be cool tonight, you guys. We're watching. It's really that serious. I hate to be that way, but
be more chill.
Yes, exactly. But we aren't doing Last Jedi tonight with just us. We have a whole group of characters. First of all, looks like he's stuck out on his own.
Oh shit!
On Act 2. Hi, Pat Hogue. How are you?
There's only one truth I know. It's time for the Jedi to end. Dun, 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 dun. Nah, because I remember that being in the teaser trailer, and like it's the final line, and then like the music is like way more tragic in Star Wars, and I was so ready for whatever this movie was going to be. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this one, guys.
I'm excited too, man. And that teaser trailer is still one of my all-time favorites. And I remember that moment. It like totally destroyed the internet when it happened, because why would Luke Skywalker be saying those things? And then we learned why Luke Skywalker would be saying those things.
The whole lead
celebration definitely wasn't there for that.
I can't tell. Evan, are you showboating?
No,
better than that.
I was definitely there.
But the whole like build up to the first trailer for Last Jedi was, what is a Rian Johnson Star Wars movie going to feel or look like? And the first shot being what you think is stars going to the puddle to Rey's hand coming down, then the whip pan up to her face and her breathing. I was like, oh, they let him make his own movie.
Yeah.
And since then, I was stoked for whatever this movie was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to disagree with any of what you said. It's just so good, and it is a very Rian Johnson film, and we're going to talk a lot about that as we get into it. But I'm really happy because we also have a special guest tonight, someone that I'm happy to say actually showed up this time when we invited her out, and that is Abby Freel. Hi, Abby.
Great way to introduce somebody by calling them out.
Making my watch-along debut, and that's how you introduce me. Okay, that's fine.
She found the time to get around.
She found the time. She's usually way more popular than us, so here we are.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited. I'm here. I'm ready to talk some Last Jedi.
And of course, we don't do Rian Johnson month without these two. It is Jacob and Taylor. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Guys, I came prepared with my directed by Rian Johnson sweater. Like, I have the armor. I have everything I need.
I have my cushion, my in a galaxy far, far away cushion. So
we're good to go, man.
Yeah.
PJ, before we go, I do want to say something.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know everyone gets worried, but I have spent the last. I love this movie, and like that goes beyond I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy, but this was a movie that really clicked and connected with me. And I've spent the last few days like really watching every interview with Rian Johnson, really kind of absorbing as much as I can about him approaching this movie, what I could find. And everything I could find was him being such a positive, no pun intended, force for, what this franchise is, what this fandom can be, and was only even in the adverse of all the everything coming at him, he always represented kind of like the good and the positivity of what this movie could mean. And having now the experience of being disappointed by a movie, a Star Wars movie, I get why people would be upset. I understand, it sucks when you don't jive with something that a lot of other people do. But I really am excited to watch this movie with, these people that like it, to celebrate kind of that positivity that Rian Johnson has always shown and really kind of, put forth, especially to any of the fans that came at him or even the fans that showed the love towards him. I'm really excited for this celebration for what I think Star Wars can be, for what fandom can be. And if somebody doesn't like this movie, I hope they take the opportunity to watch this and kind of like maybe get a chance to see a different perspective. Even if you don't agree, that's fine. But let's try to like be hopeful the way that Star Wars can be.
Hey, Evan, can you boot this person out of the chat?
I have a better thing. I have something better. Don't worry.
All right. James, you're going to be dealt with. So I guess with that, you guys, if you've never been here before, essentially how the watch-alongs work, we all have the movie paused at 0 seconds. We're going to count down. We're going to hit play at the same time, and you're going to get to listen to us talk about the movie, and we're going to talk about it with you in the chat. There's going to be a lot to talk about with this movie. Again, it's The Last Jedi. It brings out a whole lot of conversation, and I'm excited about it. So if everyone's ready, we're going to count down from 5. As soon as I say go, hit play, and we're going to start this. Everyone good?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Now, did I watch The Force Awakens today? No. Should I have? No. Did I watch Avatar and The Last Airbender instead? Probably.
I
But
might have watched Halloween 4 before this, so it's
Okay.
fine.
But are they similar in tone and theme of the franchises? Yes. Let's go, baby.
Every movie should start with the Star Wars vamp. Like-
But specifically by Chris Clark.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, also brilliant start. Chris, top notch. Just the title, I remember that getting released and being so just excited. It's so clean. It's so
It's
elegant.
such a great crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having
Well, just
First
having
order
the first order reigns tells you everything about what's happened at this point,
Yep.
especially considering like where we start in The Force Awakens. They're still kind of a ragtag group in the same way that what's left of the rebellion is.
Well, and just what this whole crawl is about is what the movie's about. It's
Yeah.
not a movie about plot. It's not a movie about getting things done. It's about restoring faith in a belief. It's about creating a new hope in a rebellion. It's the
Yeah.
spark that'll light the fire. And like this whole thing is these guys are on the run. They have one chance to like make it out of this and get past this. And it's
Well, and for Leia, that her whole thing is to try to get Luke to come back because she knows that he can be the spark that will help.
Yeah.
And it's about convincing him. Tim brings up a really great fact is that this is the first direct sequel to any Star
Mhm.
Wars saga film where there's no time jump. And that is completely accurate, which was so shocking because I don't
Yeah.
think any of us expected that.
well, it was announced like long before. Like even
But
the
you
trailer
know,
came
but
out.
when you think about it, you know, like because it had never happened.
Or totally.
What I liked is that everyone thought it was. I like that they don't open just straight on
Crate. Or not crate.
the Arc 2.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't open on that island. They actually go, oh no, here is the resistance. You've got to,
It sets the stakes of like these are the people that like suffer for the battles that the heroes get to celebrate. Like this whole beginning opening is about at what cost is it to win the fight.
My favorite character is coming up. I'm really excited.
Is it BB-8?
No, it's
Oh.
Taliesin Wintra. So
Is that the First Order general who like?
no.
Oh.
You'll just have to watch.
I'm in suspense. And just like already Domhnall Gleeson, like they made his eyes darker and like him look even Weasleyer.
Also, there's just something completely different about how this film is shot compared to other Star Wars films. Like,
Steve Yedlin.
it just feels different, you know?
Mhm.
That's in the documentary, the director and the Jedi, the cinematographer
Yes, that's so good.
was really excited because he was coming on and Rian Johnson's producer that he always worked with was coming on. So he knew this was going to be a Rian Johnson movie.
That's by the way, BB-8's beeps there are I have a bad feeling about this from the movie. No one else says it. BB-8 does it as the
It's-
beeps.
All
Which
of the
is
fan
amazing.
service is so well placed in this movie.
Yeah. Tim says that note there's similar this is a similar opening to Empire Strikes Back and Hoth. And
Yeah.
that's what I always liked about Star Wars is that it still rhymes. Even to this day, it still rhymes. Whether people like that or not is another thing. But that was something Lucas always believed in was the rhyming of time in the prequels and the original trilogy.
And this is George Lucas's favorite movie of the new ones. He's like,
Well, I mean, there's very obvious reason for that. It feels like the most George Lucas of all of them to me.
I love
It's
this
just-
dialogue so much.
yeah.
Yeah. I love this. And I know that there's a lot of people who don't like the humor. They think it's like a Marvel movie humor, but it's so for me, Poe is cocky. It makes sense to me.
But it's also Star Wars has
Oh,
stupid
there it is.
humor. It's like Han Solo going, "Hi, how are you doing?"
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
and-
Bad conversation anyway.
Yeah, this humor has been in every Star Wars movie.
It's definitely very reminiscent of the humor that they would give Han when they wanted him to be funny.
Right. Well, I mean, and Poe was supposed to be kind of Han Solo-esque. Like, that was how we all envisioned him, right?
Which is funny because I would argue that Finn is way more Han in character. Like, Poe, like, Han Solo doesn't want to be a hero, whereas Poe's just like, can we just, like, be heroes and, like, do something?
Yeah.
Whereas Finn is like,
right.
Yeah, Star Drew, we can't hear you. We're happy to have you here.
Finn very much feels like the character that obviously doesn't really know where his place in the galaxy is from where he starts and when we first meet him. And then this movie, it very much feels like he has more of the Han adventure of going off and trying to figure out what his place is.
And it's about him gaining an ideology.
Really quick shout out to Michael K donating $21.04. Tonight's stream is going to be fun. As long as we don't kill each other. I really don't think we will on this panel. Depends. No. I don't think so. And if we do, then I'm going to have to call the authorities. But
my boy Diego's in the chat.
Already this early in the film, I love the way that they use the color red. The way the color red is used in this movie is just so stunning and so beautiful and so visually fantastic in the storytelling. And it's just, I just love it. I think it's so brilliant.
We'll get to Snoke's lair, but like just choosing a dominant color like that and just having that be like the set dressing is so effective and so beautiful.
Mark Turian House too. We got all sorts of people, man. Yeah, I like that. Let's get ready to talk Schmodown podcast says, I hate the humor argument. So are you telling me there's only one kind of humor in the galaxy? Are you telling me they don't have dad jokes? They better have dad jokes.
Is this Justin? Is that Justin running that account right now?
I'm not sure.
All right, so timestamp
6:25, 6:26 right now.
Yeah.
Also, this is an incredible Leia movie, and Carrie Fisher is incredible.
Yes.
Like, she's okay in Force Awakens. I think you can tell that she hasn't acted in a while.
Yeah, in Force Awakens, she's a little weaker, but here she is incredible.
Well, she's also working with Ryan. I think that Ryan is a much... And that's not a dig at JJ. I just think that Ryan's always been an actor's director.
JJ got a little bit of flare lenses, man.
Well, and if you look back at what Carrie said, she was always poking fun at the costuming that she was put in The Force Awakens. Whereas in this movie, you can tell she's a lot more comfortable with what they've decided to put her in.
Well, and Rian Johnson said that she helped pretty much write all of her dialogue to like really get.
BB-8 is me in life. When I just want to make things work, I just slam my head against the computer and hope that it's going to work.
Also, it has been 7 minutes and 25 seconds, and I've yet to say that Oscar Isaac, I would give a big smooch on the face if I had the chance.
Who wouldn't?
This is honestly maybe my favorite X-Wing scene in any of the Star Wars movies outside of the original Trench Run. I just think that's how good it is.
Outside of the original Trench Run, yes.
Even more than Rogue One, this feels like a war movie. This really, you can tell like the strategies being used by both sides to like wear the other one down.
Here she is, Tally Lintra.
Yeah. You know what, Abby, maybe you should write that as a question later for us, because I'm going to forget.
No, everything's about the Schmodown, PJ.
I think what separates this from like Rogue One, and this isn't like a shot at either of them, is this is more so a singular battle in the war. Rogue One feels like something that's lasted over like 3 weeks or so. I don't know like the time that Rogue One took place, but it was like a sequence of events. While Last Jedi, you can tell, is one battle that is happening. Well, just three different parts of this one battle.
Yeah, and like that's kind of talking about, and I hate the phrase that everyone puts with this movie of circumventing expectations. But like, I agree. But like, this movie is just a stretch of events. It jumps time in some places, but it really is the last ditch effort for these rebels to like prove that they're rebels.
Man, I just love this whole sequence, and it's very reminiscent in a lot of ways to Return of the Jedi, which is also my favorite Star Wars movie outside of this. Just like the really big space battles. It's just cool, man. And it's fun and it feels scary. Like, especially because right now, what's left of this rebellion is this. This is like the scraps. This is all they've got.
But it
You
also sets up, the theme of just the gray area of, you won the battle, but like at what
What it
cost?
cost. Yeah.
Leia's, Poe says like there were heroes on that mission, and Leia says dead heroes, no leaders. Like it really sets up, Poe, this guy who is a hero but needs to understand the deeper sides of it.
I think what this film does very well is the character arcs, and better than any Star Wars film is each film sets up so this film sets up the 3 character arcs that all 3 people need to go on, and sends all 3 of them on a character arc, and you actually see what it is from start to finish, and it's very well laid out. And that's not very evident in a lot of the other Star Wars films as clear as it is in this one.
I love this shot.
Yeah, it's the only other one I really think it like matters is in Empire, which this movie like reflects a lot of, and that's people. We'll get to Luke, but like you want to talk about like Luke is a very flawed character in so many ways that this movie like reflects.
This sequence to me shows you just how big the stakes are of this moment, and the way that it's really shot without anyone's dialogue and just the music is just, it gives me goosebumps every single time.
And
how
to your
you make
point,
Cage so important.
And I was going to say, to your point with the music and the no dialogue, I don't know if any of you guys have had a chance to watch this with just the John Williams score, like just that version of it. It's a great special feature, and this is my favorite John Williams score, I think, for the franchise. Like, I really think it sells the film in a way that I love all the Star Wars scores, but like this one in particular, the way it really just sells every moment in the film, really, it's intoxicating.
The Canto Bight theme is such a jam in so many ways. The DVD menu for this movie is just the music that plays behind the duel of Luke and Kylo Ren, and I just like would let it play on loop just to like hear it over and over again. That's such a good look from him, of just like the captain going down with the ship, like just angry that he lost, not even scared that he's gonna die. And this next shot,
I love this, by the way.
This shot of her looking at is just so perfect,
so effective.
I love this. So the people who bring up the bombs don't drop in space argument know there's no noise in space, and that bombs did drop from the bombers in Empire. And again, it feels very selective why people want to be upset about this movie, and that is one of those things for me. I've never understood that argument.
If they're complaining about that, then they don't know how gravity works, because if there's a ship under them, there's a force of gravity literally right there, meaning that the bombs can go towards that force of gravity. Sorry.
No. But it is also like, it's, if anyone's seen the Patrick Willems video on this, it's a movie about space wizards. Like, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love how Weasley Hux is.
Was that a pun? Weasley? Because, he was a Weasley in Harry Potter?
Sure, PJ. Sure.
PJ, you should write about that in the Schmodown.
Thanks, Abby. I'll remember that.
He's so freaking good in
Which Star Wars and Harry Potter actor is in 2 different theme parks?
Something that I really, really love about this movie, and it has a lot to do with, Jacob, what you were saying with character arcs. Ryan just gives every character so much to work with in this movie that every time you see them on screen, it feels like it's important.
Yeah.
And he's such a thematic writer, where it's like, where they get to is so important, and like he always makes sure that their character arcs ties into the theme of the movie, which is failure. Every character fails in such a spectacular way and becomes better after it.
Yeah,
it's so important.
Poor Finn.
I know.
Also, can we just talk about the quick contrast? Everything was red in that last sequence, and the first shot that we get of Finn was the blue behind him.
Yeah.
It's a very quick turnaround. Good choice in cinematography.
This cut, where's Rey? The island.
Oh,
it's so beautiful. I just love everything about this. And I just want to throw out here real quick, because here's another hot topic that's about to come up, is Luke's throwing away of the lightsaber. We've talked a lot about throughout the month how Rian Johnson is very clearly influenced by like anime and just Asian cinema in particular. This is something straight out of a lot of those old martial arts films when they'd go to the master and the master was like a weird old guy who, you know, just did things like this. Luke is broken. He doesn't care. Like, of course, this is how he's going to be. He doesn't want anything to do with this.
He does care. He removes himself from the fight because he's like, the Jedi do no good.
And that's also not caring at the same time. It's about it is, but it's both.
But not only that. Sorry, the shake of his hand. He is terrified of this thing. Like she's just given him the weapon that. And look, I'd like to actually be able to talk about this with spoilers, like because it is kind of important. But he has just given her. Sorry, she has just given him the weapon that he used that is the whole reason Kylo turned bad. Like so of course this thing terrifies him, and he's like, no, I don't want it.
Also, really quick, very important. People, literally just people. That's all it says. Donated $10 to the Streamlabs. I would thoroughly appreciate it. People, it's literally what it says.
Thank you, people.
Like
we love to see it.
This is the thing of like, as we fight through the static. Like I get it.
It's Evan. Evan is staticky. He needs to check his mic.
I get it.
I miss porgs.
And
I love porgs.
I love that shot. You're just like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
I get if this is not where you wanted to see Luke. Like as a storytelling choice, I get it. It's a lot because you expect him to be the hero.
And who decided to join us? Frank Janisch is in the house.
What's up, guys?
What is going on, man?
Quick, we didn't talk about what he was actually going to do then and why he was wearing those robes. Because he was going to burn the tree again that night.
Frank, just so you know, we're at like 16:21. If you want to get in like 8 seconds, 6:30, 16:30.
Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up here.
Real quick. This is Mark Hamill's best performance.
That's a great cut when it's Where's Han and it cuts to Ben.
It's funny because in an earlier cut of the movie, it was supposed to be Where's Han, and it cuts to Leia, like kind of mourning him. Mm-hmm. But then they like put this in of just like that. There's more like parallel there with like Ben, you know, being Han Solo's son, and
yeah.
What marker did you say?
I'll give you another one. It just went into 17 minutes. So if you want to jump in and I'd say give it like 10 seconds, you'll be at 17:15 with us.
Okay.
5 seconds.
So at some point, Chris Clark said this.
3, 2, 1, 17:15.
Also, I just want to shout out Chris Clark. He literally put in the chat, this movie is better than the Empire Strikes Babe. Literally just better than Empire Strikes Babe.
Chris Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so the whole set here is perfect.
Matt says Luke in the start of this film is a very huge change than we see him at the end of Return of the Jedi. I would hope so. It's been 30 years. I like that's my thing. People want him to be young Luke Skywalker traversing the space areas of the galaxy and, you know, being a space wizard and fighting and being in battles. Like that you can't be that.
It's also George Lucas's original conception of Luke was, you know, a King Arthur kind of parallel, who like ascends to power, claims the land, and then falls into despair because he like looks at the work he's done and like secludes himself to an island. George Lucas's version of the sequels was a hermit, Colonel Coots Luke. You know, J.J. Abrams said we need Luke out of the fight because he would be, you know, disillusioned. Rian Johnson, George Lucas, J.J. Abrams, and all of Lucasfilm all determined this is the natural way for Luke to go in this story. Like, every character who, like, incepted Star Wars said, this makes sense.
Oh my God, he said young Solo, and that threw me off, because the last Star Wars movie I saw was Solo. No, it was Rogue One, but Solo before that.
Adam Driver, ladies and gentlemen.
I know, he's so good.
And Andy Serkis, like,
he turned Kylo Ren into something so much more than I think even the writers could have anticipated with his performance.
It makes him scary, yet like he could churn. Like that moment in the middle of Rey really reaching out to him, you have a sense of this guy might be able to be convinced.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he murdered to
Snoke
death.
looks so much better in this movie too. Like the
and that's just also because naturally, like without a hologram, like
This elevator scene, just the way that he acts here before he smashes the helmet, like the little tick under his eye and the clenching of his jaw, just.
He's like a petulant child. That's why I like it so much. It's
right
a temper
now,
tantrum.
He feels like a child.
I don't feel like this is more of a temper tantrum.
I don't think this is a temper tantrum to
Yeah.
me. I think this is him kind of finally embracing that the mask isn't him.
But it does go to the ideal of I can't be Darth Vader. I need to be my own thing.
Right.
I can't have a
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're a child, you want to be that thing, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
You act.
That
out.
was Rian Johnson's first request when he met Kathleen Kennedy. After she said, "Do you want to do episode 8?" She's like, "I want to break the mask. Like I want to see Kylo Ren throughout this entire movie."
And you know
Smart.
what? We all thank you for that. Adam Driver is all I care about.
And can you take his shirt off for like a scene too? Like, can you even go like a little further?
So
Also,
Can I
hi,
also
Frank.
say that what I love about this is, and this is not a criticism of Daisy Ridley whatsoever, is the delivery there is very. It's not wooden's the wrong word, but it's purposefully wooden because it's not something that she's actually believing. She's saying it because it's the rehearsed speech that she had to give.
There's a couple lines in this movie. I think, ironically, her best performance is in Rise of Skywalker. But she's great in this movie. But there are a few lines, Jacob, I agree, where it's like she's not hammy enough for a Star Wars movie, but not realistic enough to like make it work in a regular grounded movie.
Daisy's best performance was Force Awakens, but that's just me.
I actually think it's on purpose. I don't think it's bad acting. I think it's actually on purpose that the lines where she's saying we need I think it's coming up here where she's
right here.
There's a line later that we'll get to that bugs me. Also, Daddy.
Look, everyone hates this. I love it. I think it shows, no, this is the reality of the world I live right now. Deal with it.
This is the meta of the movie of like you expected to see Luke Skywalker, and what he said was like walk out with a laser sword and fight the First Order. Nah, he's gross. Daisy Ridley is the audience right now of being like, why aren't you being Luke Skywalker? Why are you drinking like alien milk?
I just like the determination to get us to 200 subscribers tonight.
Why is he telling us? We've already done it, dude.
Well, he's just telling anyone in the chat who hasn't done it. Let's be fair.
That's fair.
Also, do you guys know why the Porgs are in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
Rian Johnson, dude. Rian Johnson.
So the Porgs are there because the island that they're shooting on is a bird sanctuary, and they couldn't get rid of them, so they had to come up with some reason why on the wide shots there's birds.
It was infested with puffins.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
many
perfect.
puffins. Yeah.
It's so perfect. And I mean, of course, yes, it's also to sell toys, but it just worked really well.
But it's also so Studio Ghibli of like a weird, cute little like creature that's just like in this far away land.
Oh man. Frank, you're apparently supposed to put on a helmet, for God's sake.
What?
Apparently you need to put on a helmet, according to Justin.
Frank, put on your helmet. What? I don't have it. Oh, my mask?
Yeah.
Frank, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a hot minute.
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. I just moved to a new place, and Frank, don't come after Shug's podcast. Don't what?
Can we be nice to Frank, please?
oh god, I love this so much.
I would also like to address a comment that was wondering if I hate this movie. I do not.
Abby, why are you enraged right now? Why are you seething with anger?
Calm down. Oh my God.
I saw that somewhere. I think it was like 5 minutes ago, but
Yeah, it was a while ago. I
You've been
wasn't
sitting
gonna.
with it.
it's been killing me. I just don't want people to think I hate this movie.
I didn't want to bring like attention to it because I know you don't hate the movie, so I was just gonna try to let it go. But apparently, I
Wait.
should have.
Hold on, we got Alan Driver here in the commentary because, like, oh my god, that's Kylo Ren. Like,
Oh my god.
Oh my god. What's up,
Kylo.
Chris Clark?
so will anybody doubt that this is Mark Hamill's best performance he's ever given?
Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
This is easily his best performance
Yes.
as Luke Skywalker. Like, but it's also.
I mean, in general.
Yeah, I'll go in general. Yeah, you can go in general. Best live action. I mean, look, his animated one.
Joker
Yeah,
goes
like,
without saying.
Can I just talk about real quick? It feels like the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmodown podcast is having like I think there's more than one person running it right now. On
Who is it?
It's Justin Hamilton and I'm gonna guess
Ferris?
maybe Ferris because it seems like it has a split personality. It's like yelling at each other.
Bro, I am. Wait. Maybe I need to rewatch the OT again, but like Empire Return? Like
No, okay. So here's the thing, but this is the difference. He is really, really good in Empire and Return.
Yeah.
But the material he's given here. Look, this is going to sound really terrible, but Rian Johnson is a better filmmaker than George Lucas, and he's a better script writer than George Lucas.
No, don't worry. That tracks.
And that's why
And I think
he has more material to work with.
And he's a better actor's director.
Yes.
By far.
And that's the other thing. Like he is definitely a better actor's director. So you're actually getting a better performance from him simply out naturally because he's got more material to work with. The type of material that he's working with is better suited for his acting range.
This is a movie about dealing with your legacies. And like JJ is a good actor's director, but he's very much about what is the performance you need to give for like the movie. Whereas Rian Johnson's better about being like, what's the better performance for your character? And like you can really tell that all the conversations he had with Mark Hamill, who was very trepidatious, and who he eventually won over, like this is a movie that is dealing with like the sins of the past, and that takes a lot of self-reflection. And like these actors have been with these characters, and he's the perfect guy to like get them to that greater depth that you wouldn't see in their other movies.
But what I love about this, and what drives me crazy about when people say, "Oh, this isn't the Luke I grew up with," it's not, and that's on purpose. But by the end of the film, he is the Luke you grew up with. He has returned. It's him returning to that Luke. Now,
it's literally the movie builds to the idea that you've built up of Luke Skywalker in your mind. Saving the galaxy.
Tim says, so the hate from this comes from those who wanted more escapism fantasy than character-driven dilemmas. I think there's a part of that. I just think that it's also more complicated that some people just want Star Wars they wanted Luke to be the like skybound jumping planet to planet hero that they knew in like the EU and stuff. And that was never going to be this. Like Luke had to change. The characters have to change. When you meet Han in The Force Awakens, he's broken and gone back to smuggling after he had turned his back on it. Like that's kind of a part of the point of this trilogy for me, at least, was dealing with legacy altogether, but this movie in particular, but also trying to find yourself again.
Well, and just this movie had so much expectation of what it should be going in versus Rian Johnson being like, no, what's the natural next step of like this story?
Yeah. And I like that as much as this one is probably thematically very similar to Empire, it is not Empire. Like, whereas compared to Force Awakens feels very New Hope. And I think it's suited for feeling like New Hope.
And it's trying to be.
Yeah, it needed to. Whereas in this one decided, no, we're not just going to be Empire. We are actually going to do some slightly different.
This is the definition of it's poetry, it rhymes, of like, there are just enough comparisons to Empire to see like how it compares without copying it. Can I just kiss Oscar Isaac?
I mean, join the club of people asking that question.
Okay.
I love that. And again, that humor works there where you can't just always jump in an X-Wing and blow stuff up. Permission to jump in an X-Wing and blow stuff up. Like that humor works.
Mm-hmm.
And just that's such a Carrie Fisher / Leia line.
What was that, Abby?
I was just going to say, I'm not ready for Admiral Akbar to die. Like, I'm genuinely like,
there he is.
It's very upsetting.
I'll be honest, I didn't even realize the dude died, to tell you the truth. When I was watching the movie the first time, I was really focused on Leia, and I completely blew past me that Akbar was in there. And then later on, I was like, "Oh shit, he was there."
The Akbar doesn't have the Force, sadly.
Well, to me, that's sadder than Luke's death. So, I'm joking.
I was like, wow.
I didn't know what to do with that. I was like,
I was really not sure where to take that part of the conversation. I was going to be like, okay, Abby, it was nice seeing you tonight,
and there was no reaction. So here we are.
No, that's the reaction of What
Yeah,
the
that was the Abby. Have a great night. We'll see you later.
yeah.
Ugh,
Sorry?
this scene.
Shout out. Let's get ready to. Akbar died. What the fuck?
Yeah, bro. Fucking gone.
So
You know, and it's like I will
yeah,
argue
I didn't
this-
realize it until people were mad online about it.
I love that little roll that BB-8 does.
Yeah.
He's like flipping through the air.
like I'll say I think BB-8 is cuter in Force Awakens, but they still get some pretty good gags out of him in this movie.
BB-8, like him running around in these situations gives me the same anxiety as like dogs in movies
Sure.
because I just
Yeah.
want him to be
It's like-
okay.
Something bad's gonna happen to you because I've seen movies before and I don't like it. But it, you know, like everybody says this movie wants to like destroy Star Wars, whereas the ending is all about preserving Star Wars and the importance of it. But like killing Akbar and like all that kind of stuff is kind of like we need to move on. Like let's put the past in the past.
this scene, like
Leia's theme.
Okay, Leia's theme coming here is beautiful. I love all of this. I am not a fan of.
I thought, whoa, are they really gonna do it right now? And I was like, it makes sense if you're
Yeah.
not gonna have her for the next one. And I was like, shoot, are they
See,
really gonna do it right now?
There's so many shots in the trailer where are past this that I was like, she's not dead.
This was so heartbreaking to
I
like,
know.
just ugh.
I remember
Sorry,
that-
Taylor.
I felt like that was that moment for me when it happened that I was like, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
I felt like
Wait,
I
let
was
me
on
ask
the
you guys a
ship.
question. How many times, because Hogue, you just bring this up about the trailers and stuff. How many times when you're in the movie do you really think about what you saw in the damn trailer when you're watching the movie? Like, how does your mind go to, oh,
Every
this
time.
trailer? Really? That sucks.
Dude, I have like a photographic memory when it comes to movies where like I will notice, so I'm trying to watch less trailers. I will notice like that shot hasn't come up yet with that person, so I know like it still has to come up unless they cut it, and then I'm like, oh. Taylor, you were going to say something earlier, but I interrupted you. Sorry.
Yeah, so 8 minutes ago when I tried to say something.
What?
No, the shot to me where they're intercutting between Ben and Leia, it only makes sense for them to actually go there if they're not going to end up redeeming him later. Which I know we're not really talking about this outside of just the movie itself, but thematically, it only makes sense to go there if later, like you're really cementing that he's not going to be redeemed at a later point.
Matt Whitehurst says, I have to say that Johnson's a better director and writer than Lucas, but when it comes to writing dialogue, who does it better? It's still for me,
Rian
Ryan.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson easily.
Are you kidding me? George Lucas sucks at dialogue.
Uh,
Rian Johnson is
Tim-
one of the.
not a massive fan of this moment, but
I think
It's-
it makes sense though.
I do too.
The moment I think Rian Johnson isn't great with like compositing a person onto a digital background. There's a couple moments in this movie where it like looks a bit goofy to me, and I like what this moment's doing, but it does look goofy.
Can we talk about
Yeah.
the foreshadowing of her going through the ship, like and
Yes.
splitting it in half?
Yeah.
Yes. It's such a great foreshadow in
Oh.
the right way.
Holdo in this movie, when Laura Dern comes on, I'm going to squeal because I can't wait. But
She
that
somehow-
moment,
She somehow ended up being one of the most controversial characters in this
I-
movie. I'll
be-
never understand it.
because so many people like it's what the movie's challenging of like, wait, she's not one of the leads.
There is
What's going
there
on?
is some complaint which I do understand a little bit, and this is a Lucasfilm problem kind of internally, was it wasn't until recently that they started to really seem to care about what was going on in the books, and Holdo was in some of the books and it didn't really match with the character that they had written already. And so I do understand if you've been reading that stuff, it's a frustration thing, but like that's one of those things that in any version of any canon that you like, any artist is going to come in and change things. So like every comic that you read, there's a different interpretation of, say, Iron Man, right? You just have to kind of roll with the punches. It's the same character, but at a different point in their life.
Well,
yeah, and this
See,
sorry.
that's not any of the complaints I've ever seen about Holdo. The complaints
Yeah.
I've seen about Holdo is, oh, she's a woman. She has purple hair. Why does
Yeah.
she get to be in charge?
No,
Like,
but I'm talking about the real literal complaints about them, like because she's in Bloodlines and there's other books she's in.
but I've never seen actual valid complaints, is what I'm saying.
But
I've never
also,
seen
Real
but also,
quick,
this
Luke
scene is
Skywalker's
pretty
on the
fucking
Millennium Falcon. Yeah, this is.
cool.
But it is funny. Holdo is meant to be a visual indicator of what like all the naysayers about her like are supposed to hate. And it's like, don't preconceive people based on their looks and their appearance. Like they have better ideology.
I always kind of wish R2 had more to do
This
in
moment.
the trilogy, but this is
Yeah.
great.
Sorry, this is the moment where Luke is Luke. Like where like he like this is why Mark Hamill is so fucking good in this movie. Because he's back to being Luke again. And you know, like
and yeah, it's Rian Johnson knowing how to use fan service to push the story forward. Him saying later, like, that's a cheap shot. It's kind of what most fandom can feel like, fan service can feel like in a movie, but it's purposeful here.
Like, it's so well done.
And it's like R2's way of saying, like, yo, dude, let's fucking go.
Right.
Be Luke Skywalker. Like, why not?
It's call to action from A New Hope in his film. It's perfect.
And it's like when the broom kid at the end gets a new hope because of Luke Skywalker. It's like he creates a new hope in the galaxy. Sorry, I'll tone down the future.
I love that sequence. It's just so good.
His voice is so well tailored in this movie of like this, because Mark Hamill can go a little bit hammy in his live action performances, but it feels so well tuned.
Hamill,
Get it? For most of his dialogue, he is that groveling older voice.
That's a good question. I can't remember off the top of my head.
But then you go back to when he says R2, he's back to being
R2.
Yeah.
What is it?
Daisy?
She's the one. Never mind. We're not talking about that movie.
Yeah, she's the one. Yeah, she is the one.
She is the one.
Yeah, she's the one that China didn't see.
Exactly, right.
Oh my God. Queen, here we go.
I would love to see like the Marriage Story character of her in this.
She's Poe's agent.
Yeah.
She's like, okay. No, sorry, lawyer.
Yeah.
Laura Dern,
imagine fucking with Laura Dern like this if you're Poe. Like, just if I look at Laura Dern and be like, all right, you tell me what to do. You're in charge. I'm good.
This is the thing of like it is the one storyline I think in this movie that does have one beat too many. Of like, I get the point. Oscar Isaac kind of being the shithead and Laura Dern being like, sit down. Like you're doing more damage than good. I think there's the logic of if you just told him what the plan was.
Yeah.
I get the don't tell him the plan.
I do as well.
But he doesn't respect authority, really.
No,
like,
and that's
it's
funny though, where it's like we're gonna teach this guy a lesson when we're all being hunted down at this point. But now it seems like a good time to teach this guy a lesson about leadership.
That's what the military does. Of like, you're a subordinate. Sit down.
Yeah. He needs to learn. He needs to respect authority, and I get it. I kind of wish that there's a plan. I wish there was a line of there's a plan. I think there's a mole, and I'm not telling anyone the plan, or something there that could just maybe go, hey, you actually can respect authority.
I get what you're saying. I still even like
he literally cost them so many of their own fleet when they have nobody left because he's arrogant, and you guys don't think he deserves to be taught a lesson. Like, are you serious?
I think he does. I'm saying he does deserve.
Retweet Taylor.
Thank you, Abby. Men, sit the hell down right now and listen to what
I agree.
What I think it's lost here is though that Holdo's basically saying to Poe's like, you don't deserve to know the plan.
Yeah,
but he doesn't.
Right?
He doesn't.
But, so
he keeps messing it up every time he knows the plan. So
it's the one thing where like he commits a mutiny and Leia's like, I like him, and you're like, Leia, I know you like him, but he performed a mutiny.
That was gonna be my point. Is that like Leia was very loose with her command, especially with Poe, because she trusted Poe so much. But I think the part that confuses me the most, but I get it because it's two different characters and two different leadership styles. If Leia has that trust in Poe, then why isn't Holdo? Like that's the.
I think the chat is like overwhelmingly on the side of that he didn't deserve to know.
Yeah.
'cause
Also,
Vader-
real quick, Rose is an incredible character, and anyone says otherwise makes
This
so
whole
good.
moment is amazing.
Okay, I really want to point this out real quick because this is something that comes up a lot, that a lot of people think that for some reason Finn has no arc in this film. And I do not agree with that at all, because where you leave him in The Force Awakens and he comes here, he's trying to run again. This whole movie is about him learning his place in the galaxy and learning what to be. Like, this is the movie where he has an arc. There's no doubt in my mind he's grown by the time this movie is over.
It's
I think
him
that is a
becoming a rebel.
ridiculous...
He's got more of an arc in this than he does in Force Awakens. Like, really.
By
Like,
a lot.
yeah, this is the movie where he, and it's, what I don't understand by people saying he doesn't have an arc is because then you don't watch this scene. Like, here he's running. At the end of the film, he's sacrificing himself for something greater than himself. Like,
There's a deleted scene where he's talking to Poe of like, I get what you guys are doing here. I'm only here for Rey. Like, I'm her friend. I just got to find her. And like, they cut it for pacing, but that's his arc of just gaining an ideology and having a sense of doing the right thing and being this hero that Rose is talking about.
Well, and it shows that by the time The Force Awakens was over, he hadn't become the person he thought he was. He was still willing to run. They save him, and then he's really ready to get the hell out of Dodge in the same way he was going to after they went to Maz's castle to begin with. Like,
even in Force Awakens, he's not a hero. He's just like,
Did you
I
say
came to save
Maz's
Rey.
castle?
Yeah, I did. I totally blended the words.
Maz's
I
castle.
love the introduction that we get with Rose, because it tells you everything you need to know about her character immediately, where she's so excited to meet Finn because of everything that he's done and all the stories that she's heard. But as soon as she realizes what he's about to do, she's not afraid to be completely true to her own convictions.
She
Also,
sees
can we
through the
appreciate
bullshit.
He might literally become the next like big action star. He has that like pacing. He has that like.
I would say yes if he didn't star in legitimately one of the worst sequels to any movie that I adore more than anything.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's not his fault.
Yes, he produced the movie. It is partly his fault.
Listen,
he was
went all in on that.
heavily involved in it.
Listen, PJ, if you were gonna play Idris Elba's son, you're telling me you wouldn't jump at that opportunity? Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm way too white to be Idris' son.
That's the joke. It's a comedy, guys.
This sequence is just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it like this is the whole point of Rose is vocalizing this sense of like oppression in the galaxy that we haven't heard before. She can go to Canto Bight and be like, look at all this shit. It's stupid.
When we get there, I'm gonna have so much to say about Canto Bight and people who don't understand.
That's like perfect.
Parker.
You get offered a big chunk of money to be in a role.
Evan, he also put his own money into the movie. He's a producer on it.
All right, guys, we're not talking about Pacific Rim.
I'm not talking about this anymore.
Yeah, we're talking about Pacific Rim 2, guys.
Exactly.
I think
This
this
is Star
part's
Wars.
a little bit too video game for me.
I'm not a fan of them bringing back Mars for this scene. I'm not the biggest fan, but
I wish we saw more of her because I think she's really great in Force Awakens. I like it just as it expands the universe and like, oh, there's another thing going on over there, and one of the characters we know is having a fun little adventure.
We should have ran into her on Canto Bight, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
If you're gonna have her in there, put her in Canto Bight then.
It's the most it feels like, and they haven't done anything with it, so it's like this is even a moot point, but it does feel a little bit like, if you want to know what happened with Maz, go read this sub-comic of Maz's adventure doing what she's doing. Man, Oscar Isaac is really attractive.
We get it.
Thank you, Hogue.
That's such a good line. It's a need to know plan to shoot.
Let Hogue have that now, because as soon as we get more of Adam Driver, that's literally all I'm going to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, Taylor. I'll jump on that too. But...
Okay, good. Great.
And this is, and it's like, yeah, this is the anime part of it of like, oh, person we knew in a main story earlier, come inform this one for a quick second.
Can we talk about the implication of this scene means that Maz Kanata has hooked up with Justin Theroux?
Fucked Justin Theroux.
Yep.
Hardcore. Yes.
Like, that is my biggest
Dude,
takeaway.
she is like the best person in the whole galaxy, because she like spends her time in TFA just hitting on Chewie. Like we know she's been with Justin Theroux. Like, I'm down with everything that she's doing in her life, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the biggest disappointment with the movie that shall not be named is that we didn't get a third person that like she is romance.
They didn't complete Maz's trilogy.
Ah.
And I'm so angry.
Don't worry, my fan fiction like completes it and expands on it, but for now we have to live with the canonical version, I guess.
I like that she like rocketeers at the end right there. She's got a jetpack. It's freaking awesome.
So good.
Find the master code breaker, aka Benicio del Toro.
It's weird how good this music is. Whenever it like comes in, I'm just like, oh man, that's like a classic. And
Like you just don't have shots like this in
No.
other movies.
No.
And
Not gonna say.
Yeah.
this is something this is basically how I've always considered this Star Wars film, is that it treated Star Wars like Shakespeare. And it actually
yes,
truly elevated all of how they tell the storytelling.
this genius move
Oh,
of having these scenes that they even just ate for the next one. Like Rian Johnson had the actors, like they flew Adam Driver to Ireland to shoot these scenes with Daisy Ridley and vice versa, and you can tell these scenes just feel so alive, and these
And
actors.
the way that they're sound engineered too is just
Genius.
How it like cuts out in the background and then just like so.
I just love how this whole thing played out. It was such a great extension of the Force in a way that we really hadn't seen to this point. Like,
Totally.
I know that the joke was Force Skyping, but I mean, it's kind of true and it works. Like, it's just a really great way to expand the Force in a way that we hadn't seen.
It gives them an opportunity to interact without them having to result to fighting. Like it's a battle of ideologies and really helps them kind of understand this gray area of you're bad, I'm good. What does that mean right now?
Yeah.
And why are you the way you are?
But no Star Wars has ever done this where they've gone, okay, well, let's have our two characters actually sit down and be able to talk to, express ideas and
without it just resulting in, bzz, okay, now we got to fight because we disagree.
I mean,
just
the prequels are pretty ideology pushed and heavy with the stuff with the Senate, but I mean, not like this.
No,
But
It's a different situation because Lucas is not nearly as strong of a writer as Rian Johnson, in my opinion.
Well, it's the problem of like in the prequels, the bad guys are hidden, so the characters don't know you're bad, I'm good.
Right.
Whereas this one, I disagree with you, and I can't just punch you to stop you talking. I have to listen to you.
And yes, it is in the expanded universe. This is one of the things that they brought over, but I mean, we'd never even seen it on screen. This was the first time that they had actually done something like this.
Can we just take a second to talk about Rey's Octu outfit? Because like
Last Jedi is the best costume.
I agree.
I think point blank out of all of the sequel movies, this is the best costuming by far.
I mean, I would say it's the best score. I think it's got some of the best cinematography. I mean, I think all around, this is still, for me, of the sequel trilogy, this is arguably the strongest period.
I will say this is my favorite Star Wars movie of all of them. Like, and I'm not too attached to the original trilogy, so it's like, take that with a grain of salt.
So, this line coming up here.
This is the one that bothers me.
Okay, I think that it's on purpose. I think that the wooden delivery of this line is on purpose because it's not what she believes. And it's
what
just,
she's been told.
It's
she has
what,
to tell Luke.
And that's why I think it works so well, is because
especially with the delivery of make things float at the end, really hammered home that like this is the speech she knows she needs to give. She said it in her head 100 times.
Yeah.
If she ever ended up finding him, and she doesn't fully truly believe
that makes sense.
Because
personally,
this moment here where she says, "But what is it?" That's when you're starting to see the oh no, like she's actually more curious and more. And I think that's the real. That's the real performance, and that's why I think that other one is actually like a forced
to forgive me.
Wooden line.
I just think it's bad.
That's something I never considered of like on her trip there of kind of practicing what do I say to Luke. That's a good reading. Also,
this is the
best introduction of the Force ever. This is my favorite explanation of the Force. Better than Yoda's. I think this is actually better than Yoda's explanation.
It becomes a Terrence Malick movie of like it treats kind of it really gets to the core that I think George Lucas really sees even midichlorians, which we can make fun of. You know, there's a lot of ideologies in, you know, earlier religions that, you know, believing in a higher power is drawing from an energy within you that is both biological and spiritual. And this movie doesn't discredit any of that. It's like, if it's more or less in you, you are a part of the universe that you're feeding from. And Rian Johnson really, like, I think the brilliance of this movie doesn't discredit the prequels in this one.
No.
And this really is such a beautiful visualization of the universe that the Force inhabits.
Yeah, really quick, I just want to shout out Chris Clark for providing us with all the graphics today and all that is here. He may or may not be here with us, but I just want to shout him out really quick. So yeah, that's all.
But yeah, this is what I think works so well, is just this. You understand exactly what the Force is after this.
This is my like contention to PJ's point earlier about Luke not caring, of like, he cares too much. Of I've become a Buddhist monk and realized this is not black or white, or this is black or white of an energy that could be used for evil, and I need to remove the most powerful person who can control it away from that so someone can't use it. Like, constantly living in that fear of what someone could do with it. I also love scary holes.
I love this, the fear. The fear in his eyes.
Yeah. And he's very binary. You can only be good or bad. And Rey's like, what else can we do with it?
Yeah.
Oh. Rian Johnson.
I love that line. You went straight to the dark, because to him, like you said, it's dark or it's light. And she's just trying to explore what it actually all is.
I just want an answer. I just want to understand this. Like, I'm not bad. Doesn't mean I'm going to use it for bad if I see the dark.
Yeah.
That realization she has that he is no longer even in touch with the Force is so awesome. I just love, and the look on his face is just,
it's
how
glassy his eyes are.
But I love her line before that, where she goes, "Of course you have." She
Yeah.
gets that understanding of, oh, that's what this is.
Why he wasn't nominated for Best Supporting Actor, I'm not ever going to understand.
All of this is a reason why, like, if there's ever like if that Ahsoka Tano series comes true, I really want to see Rian Johnson involved with it, because I think he does a really good job with that. There's a line here, but it should be blurred. Like, balance is not
it's not a it isn't, and that's what I think Lucas was actually going for that in the prequels of, hey, it isn't good versus bad. The Jedi's problem was that they only focus so heavily on you cannot touch anything with the dark side. If you do anything that could be dark side, you will be straight up evil, and it's not that.
I love, guys, I'm just going to interrupt. I love this so much because Rey has never seen anything outside of a desert planet her whole life, and her just that pure joy on her face when she sees rain and water.
That's a good point. I never thought of that. Yeah, wow. I was like, oh, that's a little kiddish for her to do, but like, yeah, that makes sense. She's only seen dirt. Like, man.
For anyone who has seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is ridiculous how similar Kylo Ren is to Zuko. Ridiculous how similar the characters are.
I also love how Rashomon, I love this line delivery. Adam Driver is...
that line is so good.
He described making this movie as like, it's the most I felt like I've been on an indie film with a film of this budget, of like every moment feeling important, of how we like focus on it.
Right.
Because he actually, like, was Ryan involved in every single shot?
Yeah.
So like he didn't use second unit at all, did he?
I mean, like, he's talked about kind of like relinquishing creative control to a lot of the visual effects scenes, but especially for these ones of jumping back and forth, he definitely had this.
Guys, that is
influence.
one of the best shots. ever. Where he wipes his face in the rain and the water is there, and it just
which is such an elegant way to show like an evolution of a force power.
Yeah.
But Jacob, to your point earlier about the prequels, like kind of understanding of like those movies are about kind of what this movie is, of just the Jedi were inherently flawed, and like if you have two. Oh, go ahead, Taylor.
All right, I love that line that Rose just said, where it's a terrible place with the worst people in the galaxy, and then it cuts to the campaign.
Yeah,
like,
and then it cuts to the coolest place ever, Canto Bight.
But you're right. No, but you're right in that, where it's filled with the worst people, the worst place, and you expecting these
like
evil,
war zone,
awful
like
war zone, and it's just
it's money and it's fabulous architecture, and it's all this just wealth.
It's a prequel. It's one of the.
This is the prequels done right. Like this is like truly finding that middle ground.
Oh, I love this wings shot.
Theme.
Also, we have now seen 4 very powerful colors being used in the film so far. We have red, blue, the green of the island, and now we have yellow.
Or like gold, which is like what is Snoke wearing? This kind of like affluent like version of what power should be. And like this universe shouldn't have those kind of people. This is the most anime the movie gets, especially when Benicio comes up. Like,
I know that there are a lot of people that have issues with Benicio's character in this film, but I think
he's my favorite.
I think he's such a great representation of the gray that exists in the galaxy. In a
Real
movie
quick,
where he tries to show you the balance.
This is Mark Campbell.
Yeah. My one issue, I think, is and again, it's a storytelling issue that I have, which is you happen to find they set up that this thing's nearly impossible to do, and then you happen to find 2 people in the same place, and it's a convenience thing.
No, get out of here with your convenience.
See, and like this is the problem.
Does that?
Yeah.
This is the problem, though, of like, a lot of these critiques can come down to it's a Star Wars movie, and like a lot of Star Wars movies have convenience. It is a thing that it's very lucky that Benicio del Toro was in the same cell as them. But I'm also like, I love his character. I love how weird he is. And Taylor, to your point of he is that gray zone, the way that kind of like Rose is, of like, they contrast each other so well of look through the bullshit of like what people are telling you.
Yeah.
There's something underneath it. Like there's something like true underneath that.
Well, and I love that this is such a big part of Finn's arc too, like we talked about, where he's being introduced to a different kind of evil in the galaxy. As someone who basically grew up as a stormtrooper, he's getting to see a completely different side of how terrible the galaxy can be outside of just that.
I really like the Cannon Bite stuff. I'm just going to throw that out there real quick.
I
don't think it lasts long.
Bite was that like one of the little tiny issues, and I really don't care. I mean, like the Canto Bite sequence is fine, but I think it resembles too much of like what you see on Earth. I think is what people had problem with. Like all this stuff, like when you see the champagne flowing, it's just like this does it. It feels too much like an extension of a.
It's the most real world parallel that Star Wars gets with kind of
which is kind of odd. I can tell for people because it's like you're normally just seeing like cold-looking corridors and laser swords and deserts. You don't really ever see this, so I think that's what.
It's a different shade.
Yeah,
it's a different color.
But like also, it's like not out of the realm of possibility for this universe for like this part to exist. It's just we've never seen it, and when people hold on to Star Wars too tight, they're like, "You're showing us things that don't exist." To some of these people, who watch it.
Totally. So for this scene, I will put the tweet in the chat. Someone showed that every move in this scene, and this is the kind of last spoil thing I'll do. Every move that Rey does with a lightsaber in this scene, Kylo Ren does against Skywalker at the end.
Yeah.
And there's a tweet that does a comparison of every one of her moves with Kylo Ren, and it just goes to show like every ounce of thought that went into every second of this movie.
Well, and I think that also is a testament to, once again, popularity of that part of the storyline aside, that they are a dyad. Like they are gonna end up doing some of those things.
I'm sorry, are they a force dyad?
They're a force
I got you,
dyad.
Brandon.
Therefore, the energy can go from them into a third conduit that will take that energy and do a thing with it.
I know, it's a lot, but
It makes a lot.
But that little stuff really shows how much thought. I love
Those
that.
poor caretakers.
So good.
I just feel bad. She just totally ruins their lives the entire time she's there.
She's not even like trying. I feel like I'm Ray on this island where I'm just like messing everything up all the time, even though I'm trying to be like good at things and I'm just destroying all of
Evan,
it.
I don't
what
mean
year
to
are
do
you
it.
born?
So I love this.
Evan.
This lesson.
Yes, it is.
This is the most meta this movie gets, and this is the most that references the prequels. Like,
Well, and
Yeah.
that's why it works. And it's, again, I think that Ryan understood that the prequels really were about how badly the Jedi failed, which is part of the reason. The one thing I'm so excited about right now in new Star Wars canon is getting any time exploring the high era of the Jedi. I'm very curious what that actually looked like, where they were actually heroes and like the Knights of the Round Table, if you will, again, to the Arthurian legend of Star Wars.
totally.
So,
And Luke
you know.
Skywalker having to be that kind of idealization of like a Jedi, or to be literally what the movies and the fandom of Star Wars have made him, which is Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master. And he's like, I can't live up to that. And like his character arc in this movie is no, that is worth something. I need to be that for those to inspire people to continue Star Wars.
mhm.
So can I just get, because we are about to get the only lie Luke tells in this entire movie, and it's the only flashback that is a lie. There's 3 flashbacks in this movie, and only one of them is a lie, and that's this one here.
It's a
not-
lie to the point where he's leaving out information. He's not changing the narrative. We cut to the end result.
He's pulling an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Again, Lucas and Star Wars is about rhyming. It's true from a certain point of view. That's what people miss in this. They think Luke is lying. No, he's telling his side of the truth in the same way. It's not until you hear Kylo's and then really find out what everything that happened. It's true from a certain point of view how he sees it.
But it's also, in this first story, he leaves out the beginning, which is the important part of Kylo seeing the lightsaber and his reaction.
No,
he
I
only
know.
went through the destruction.
But still,
Sorry,
from a certain point of view, it's still true, even if he's leaving parts out.
But like
Obi-Wan knew that Vader was Luke's father. He left that out.
You guys can't hear me. We got a Streamlab from Justin Hamilton donating $3 saying Ryan deserves better. I was at Orlando's Star Wars Celebration where he showed up at 2 a.m. the night before they released a trailer with pizza and signing people's stuff. He loves Star Wars more than a lot of us know, and he wanted this to work so bad. And that's actually true. I have a friend, Matt Beer, who was at Celebration, and he got a picture with Ryan and actually had something signed with him too.
I love that line.
Thank you, Justin.
Where Rey says, "You didn't fail Kylo, Kylo failed you."
Failed
and
you.
then by the end of the movie, when she has actually more of the story, you see the flip of that.
Yeah. Because that's what when I said by it's a lie, I'm meaning like Luke knows the full truth and he's hiding that full truth more from himself than from Rey. He doesn't want to admit the full truth to himself until Rey finds it and actually says what happened.
And it's just because, he understands that I'm willing to admit that I didn't live up to the legend of Luke Skywalker. I'm still ashamed that the nephew of like my sister, I fucked up. And so like, I can't even talk about that. Like that's too far even for me. Laura Dern, step on me.
That's extreme.
That's the thing. Star Wars wasn't my franchise as a kid, but Back to the Future and Jurassic Park were. And so Laura Dern can kill me, and I'd be like so grateful.
Weird things are being said on here tonight. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's a weird movie, PJ.
He doesn't want to get stepped on by Oscar Isaac. I'm like,
he can.
Thank
break
you,
my
Justin.
Adam's apple.
Thank
You know
you.
what? You know
also, second time we have another donation, but this time not from people. People 2. donated $5, and that's it.
just
That's
it.
all they said.
Thank you,
Shouts
people.
people too. We love
Thank you,
people too.
The sequel to
You're
People.
great.
That's
We love to
nice.
see it, guys. Thank you so much.
Ah,
I love Benicio del Toro in this. I was very disappointed that we didn't get more with him, to be honest, in the movie we're not going to talk about, because I really think that there was a lot to explore with him, especially the idea that there's something real about having someone who literally lives in the gray area of this entire universe, who is making the money off of both sides because he knows that there's no good or bad. It's just highest bidder.
it's also he wears his boots around his neck, and that's pretty cool.
Well, with
That's
the way
fair.
that they went with the movie that we're not talking about, it would have made a lot of sense to have him in there. But
I do agree, by the way, with Brandon real quick. He says chat's been pretty clean. It's awesome. Yeah, the chat is
Yeah,
killing
that's
it. You guys have been
been really
awesome.
good.
So thank you. We've been doing this for about an hour, and you guys have been amazing. And we love you for it.
And like Benicio del Toro is all about what Rian Johnson's talking about. Of this guy, he's bad. He's not evil, and like he's a scoundrel, but like not. The scoundrels don't always work out in your favor. He's not
Right.
He's Han Solo at the start of New Hope, but stays as Han
I love
Solo.
this.
Yeah.
Did you do this?
So,
The fact that he realizes that BB-8 is such a badass just makes me so happy.
so his hat looks like a Jughead hat, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Benicio del Toro should be playing adult Jughead in a movie.
I love it. And he is probably the most anime element in a lot of this anime movie, of just the wacky character on the weird planet that like joins the adventure for a little bit.
The movie that can't be named tonight sounds a little bit Harry Potterish, just saying.
Oh, it's Voldemort, yeah. But like I said earlier, there's a
Yeah.
lot of people who feel about that movie the way a lot of people feel about this movie the way I feel about that one.
I don't
Okay.
like the stutter, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out there to Justin. No, I actually like the stutter. It's a very interesting character trait to me.
All right, so really quick, we got another Streamlab coming in from not_Ryan_Johnson. Donated $10. I'm not saying this movie is a masterpiece, but this movie is a masterpiece. Also, never underestimate a droid.
Thank you,
so
not Rian Johnson.
Yeah, thank you, not Ryan Johnson. Thoroughly appreciate the $10. And yeah, dude, never underestimate a fucking droid. R2D2,
Look, it's-
my hero.
It's not Pierce Gagnon.
Yeah, that's not the kid from Looper.
I
Just
thought it
FYI,
was.
Hogue.
I was really excited.
I love that.
I know
So-
I
That's
love
for
the
sure.
ring.
For anyone wondering what we're talking about, last week on Looper, Hogue was convinced that Broom Kid was the kid from Looper and would not let it
kinda
go.
looks like him.
It is.
I
Isn't
immediately
Looper a
looked
few
it up and
years
proved
older?
I was wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
He's like 4.
quite
in
a
that
bit
movie.
older.
Kids look different between the start and end of production, let alone years.
But I'm saying like he looks the age now that he would be
Give it up, Hogue.
like. Or this shot. Yeah,
Right.
that's not a great child
To
performance.
Justin's point, he said, I like it too. It makes it more real. That's part of the reason I like it, because I feel like the stutter is one of those things that people probably made fun of him and wrote him off for as a character. We don't know a lot about him as a character, just in general. And the fact that he became what he did in the galaxy on something like that, I think is really actually kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I like seeing people succeed, even if he is a criminal.
Wait, PJ, I'm gonna put you on the record that you want to see criminals succeed.
Hey, man, look, we all have things that have to happen in life to get ahead. You got to do what you got to do.
This scene is another example. I don't think Rian Johnson is the best at like characters being composited in a CG kind of like setting. Rose and Finn don't look great on the Thandrils as they're running through.
That's correct.
There's a lot of people who say that this is very Harry Potter-esque, and to a point maybe, but I still think it's actually a ton of fun. And we hadn't had anything quite like this in Star Wars. And I
Yeah,
think that's
it's-
why it was so exciting to me.
Star Wars is more fantasy than it is sci-fi, like in a lot of ways. So like
Yes.
Harry Potter fits as an analogy.
Mike K says, I'm sorry, is anyone else reminded of the Stampede
Oh.
scene from Jumanji?
Well, also, especially with that first person pointed shot running down the alley, because we could see a lot of those, especially like through Harry's eyes and some of the like the middle films, 3, 4, and 5, where you get like Harry just being like really stressed out, but through that first person point of view. See, guys, I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes.
Evan, you're so smart.
Thank you. I try to be.
Abby and Frank, I feel like we haven't let a lot of room for you guys to interject. Any thoughts about Canobite and everything going on? I know, Frank, you said it's a little too real world.
No, well, that's in regards to why I think people are off put by
Have
it.
a problem?
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, of course, something like this would exist in a galaxy far, far away. Like, you would think, right? Like, how could a place like this not even exist at all? So, I get why people, like I said, wouldn't take to it like right off the bat. Like, it's grown on me. At the same time, it doesn't. I understand what it means for the end of the movie, but you know,
how much is it like well integrated in like the plot throughout everything else going on? Yeah. Abby, you're in film school, right? Like,
I am.
What is Star Wars / like? Do you have any history with Rian Johnson? Because like you haven't been on any of these commentaries yet.
I don't really have a history with Rian Johnson besides Knives Out and this. I think this was my first Rian Johnson film that I ever saw. So
can I say real quick, the shot when the ship comes up like that, it reminds me of the X-Files, which is kind of funny because Vince Gilligan, who did Breaking Bad and worked with Ryan, worked on the X-Files. So it feels like a very deliberate nod to me to someone he's worked with before.
It also feels weirdly like Children of the Corn with like the field behind them and like, but like Abby, are you like a Star Wars fan at all? Do you have any like history?
I'm a big Star Wars fan. It's definitely.
She talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't watch.
No, I think that this film, in terms of storytelling, is the most like film student Star Wars film because I think that the way that Rian Johnson treats his characters, and like this point had been made before, but just almost every character has an arc, and this film is trying to say something. This film, I mean, even Canto Bight, which I think the reason why I haven't enjoyed it in the past is because like when you first saw this movie, you were like, I just want to know what's happening with Rey and Luke, and like, you're like, what is this? I don't care.
Why are we watching this other thing right now?
Yeah, so for me, Canto Bight now is definitely just Ryan really showing the themes that he wants you to take away with when you watch this film, for sure.
Totally. Not to take
I
away.
actually dated Rian Johnson. It was kind of awkward, so.
Yeah, what are those DMs like now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone shut up. Everyone shut the
Shut up.
Well, it's not like his chest is saying anything. You
It
can watch it.
Look at his high-waisted pants. Look at his high-waisted pants.
He looks like Ross Geller in Friends when he put on the leather pants.
Adam Driver, read me a bedtime story, please.
Look at the scar, though. Like,
I
just
know.
how low it goes. Like,
I actually never noticed that. Huh.
yeah. She got a good whack at him.
I really love this sequence, though. And again, it all is a certain point
I
of view, right?
wish they put the third lesson in, because if they put the third lesson in, that is when Rey and him talking right now, she is at her lowest point with Luke. And I think it would have worked better. But
well, it is, you expect it to be that Yoda-Luke relationship of master to mentor. And this movie is about doubt. And like now getting this in the middle of their relationship, where it's
That
so
glow
strange.
of the lightsaber on his face is so good. Just
because this scene is 100% real. This is what
Also,
Ben saw.
that is the only time two lightsabers touch each other in this film.
Yep.
Yep.
But
Which
that
is-
is
So where's the green lightsaber?
he got rid of it.
Abby, you're asking the wrong questions because man, oh man, are people going to yell?
I want justice for that lightsaber. It's
I mean,
Just
it
the
is the
best
best lightsaber. So, you know.
It doesn't have the same history. And that's why.
But also,
can-
like, where did we? What do you mean history? All we know, we don't know anything about it because all of a sudden Maz Kanata had it. Maz Kanata.
Yeah, he's
No,
shown up
she
the
has
game.
Anakin's. She has Anakin's.
Yes.
Real quick on a serious, like, because that's a serious note, but like every fandom that was like, this Rian Johnson hates Star Wars and wants to burn it to the ground and is always focusing in on Kylo Ren's line of like, let the past die.
He's the villain.
He's the villain. And it's like,
God,
this movie is smart enough to show his perspective and not demonize it, but also very clearly put it in. Luke is talking a lot about like, let the past die in a way, but it goes onto Luke's side and to Rey's side.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, if the green lightsaber turned up later in the film, it would have made no sense. That would have made no sense for Luke's character because he would have destroyed it. He threw away the one, his father's one, the second he got it. He would have destroyed that lightsaber.
It's also Luke is trying to be the embodiment of what will fear Kylo Ren the most.
see, look at
Right.
Brandon's right.
Yeah.
But he says Luke associates the green lightsaber with failure, his failure with Ben. That's why he doesn't project himself with it on Crate. He projects the best version of himself, a legend, and Rand. He's totally right. I just do love the green lightsaber. It was always my favorite since I was young. My favorite action figure was the Return of the Jedi Luke in the black clothes with the green lightsaber.
I don't think any of us were prepared for this scene,
No.
by the way.
I was
Well-
gonna make a TikTok of me doing this
Between like
to
two
promote
mirrors.
this. with
I
everyone.
love this scene.
It's so good.
But it like what you were talking about earlier, Jacob. It's such a comparison to Empire's
I do
scene
this
with
in the
like,
mirror though. Like I always do this in the mirror now. Like wow.
and it's
And
also
again,
like,
rhyming with The Empire Strikes Back.
yeah,
Because,
it's but it's not the same.
No, it's not. That's why, but it's a rhyme. It's not the same, but same pattern. Learning, going into the very specific force sensitive places where you're learning about yourself.
But it's like it's so emblematic of. It makes sense why this is tough for like Rey, but it also shows why Luke is so terrified of what's down there. The last thing Luke wants to confront is himself.
Right.
So why do you think the thing under the island is a mirror?
Yeah.
Like
and
it's so
because-
embodiment of I don't want to face that myself.
Well, and again, in Empire, what happened when he thought it was Vader and he kills it, and
it's himself.
It's
But
himself.
but not only that, Rey, the last thing Rey wants to also face is the truth that she is alone. And
Which
a
is-
mirror would show that. So that's
Yeah.
like, it's the same. They both have the same fear, a mirror.
Exactly.
And it's
right.
like-
And so to anyone saying that Ryan didn't understand Star Wars, I think that's ridiculous because I think he absolutely intimately understands Star Wars.
It's also Ryan wrote this film with Lucasfilm. He moved
Right.
to San Francisco to be at Lucasfilm every day, talking to Pablo Hidalgo.
If
Talking
only
to
every
Luke.
filmmaker would do that.
It's and he like is such an articulate person to be able to. Okay, I get it. Kylo Ren negs, Rey in this movie. He's not a good person, but the sexual tension in this scene.
It's there. No one
It's
can tell
there.
me.
This might actually be close to my favorite scene in the entire film.
I love
Like this whole sequence.
I love this scene, but I also love that this is a real shot coming
Mhm.
up.
It's. I have no words.
I
Like,
think
it's
John
just
understood
so-
what I was going for.
It's just so intimate in a way that a lot of these movies are not allowed to be normally. Like,
And it's just it's against everything. Everybody's saying that like Rey is a Mary Sue and like all that kind of like she is so conflicted and vulnerable right now of trying to latch onto any emotional connection she can have of it's so dangerous for her to even like
look at the size of his
Yeah.
hand. I'm
it's
dying.
so God, just take my hand in yours. Have him drop-
Taylor,
Yes.
is this the best Reylo movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Best Reylo movie easily. Because you get this scene, you get all of their really great force bomb scenes, you get the throne room scene.
I love that that's a real shot.
Yep.
It's
and
so
this
good.
whole real like Luke's face in this moment, I love all of it. Oh God.
God, Daisy really, she's such
Well,
a good actress.
Hamill too, man. The way he delivers that line is so good to me.
I've heard a lot of people say that it must have been hard for Adam to act against Daisy because she's not great. And I'm like, what movies are
Shut the fuck up.
I just want to talk about real quick. I remember when this movie was shooting, and there's all these rumors that this was like a massive fight scene
Yeah,
with
Knights of Ren.
lightsabers, and it was
Yeah.
the Knights of Ren, right? And everyone was convinced that that's what Ryan had shot on Octu was this night scene
Yeah.
with the Knights of Ren. And no, it wasn't that Like,
Not gonna
this
lie
wasn't
though,
it at
that'd
all.
have been fucking awesome.
No, it would have been, but this is even better. You know?
Of Luke catching himself with the Force is so perfect.
It's so good.
I was actually a PA on this
But
film.
it's you know,
so-
and like PJ to that.
I believe
Were
that.
you Ryan Johnson's
Sorry,
personal PA?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
was gonna say
Okay.
that we did film that part, but it got cut.
All right, thank you,
Okay.
Abby.
Can I just talk about why this scene is so perfect and why people who say that Luke that just clearly do not understand Luke or fundamentally miss the entire point of this scene. It's not that Luke tries to kill Kylo. Luke doesn't try and kill him. He has a single moment of weakness where he sees, I could kill Hitler as a baby. And so he ignite. No, but that's what it is. It's I can see
It's right
who
there.
I can
It passed
control-
like a fleeting shadow.
exactly.
Ugh.
And then
This-
he's oh,
It's
so
about-
good.
It's
It's
about
so
the
good.
worst possible moment that he could turn around. He turned around, and that's what this
And
whole
it's-
thing is.
it's a movie about failure, and this is a moment.
It's
where
almost like
Luke
another
failed.
character says this later in the movie.
It's like the theme of the movie is stated, and everyone said that this movie
Well, I mean,
has
isn't
no
it
thematic
also
thing.
like that Snoke was already communing with Kylo or Ben in this case,
Yeah, and that's
right?
what
So
he-
then
he
once
was
you get to this point, then Ben's like, "Oh, everything Snoke's been saying is true."
But that's
right.
Basically, that fleeting
That's where
moment
this-
is confirming that everything Snoke's been saying to him.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's also just the people that fail in this movie are the ones that believe that you could only be good or bad. Like,
Just-
Snoke real quick, Snoke has like latched onto you, so that you must be like beyond saving. Whereas Rey is like, there can be darkness inside of you, and you can still come back from that. And Luke is still kind of still stuck in his old ways of, I don't believe in the middle ground. You can either be good or bad.
Yeah.
This is straight. This feels very Empire reminiscent because it is someone who is learning that prematurely leaves their destination because they believe they are better needed somewhere else, even though that might not be true.
Right. I just love
But-
everything about this. It just
and then
it's such a great deconstruction of everything that we know the Jedi Order to be. Because if you've watched the prequels, all the Jedi are failures. Like, that's why Order 66 happens. They got too proud. They weren't paying attention. They failed. And here he is.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually think this might be my favorite moment in this movie because I think
Yeah.
the way,
No,
and I remember being
this is my favorite Star Wars scene of all time.
oh,
Hands down. Just want to throw that out there.
And
It's only second to the sail barge sequence in Return of the Jedi.
this moment of Yoda using the lightning and everybody having qualms of like, how can a ghost have that power? One, they're at the epicenter of like Jedi studying. Also, two, it fits into the point of the movie of this, embodiment of good is using a Sith power for the purpose of doing good. Like, it just feeds into everything.
Everything about this is perfect. And him
It's-
burning it, and I love his laugh when he does
again,
it.
but again,
It's a little
this is-
thinker.
failed. He couldn't do it.
And can we also talk about this is the Yoda that you remember meeting in Empire, because it's a
Mhm.
very different Yoda, obviously, than from the prequels, because this is how he acted when Luke first met him. So for it to feel like you're going back to that moment when they first met is so great, because it's like, oh, wait, you were trying to teach me something the first time, now you're doing it again. Like, you're going back forever, and it works.
Also, I remember when we were doing all those speculations about like the books and this stuff and all that, and we were thinking it was that character from Rebels. I forget the name of him. We were thinking it could have been that, like, there's that fan theory that was going to like, let's go, and then no, it's like no, they're literally just books in a tree, and Yoda's like, yeah, they're literally just books. They're gonna blow them out.
I love that.
But it's also
It's
Lucas
Lucas,
is in the house.
Alex's
What's up,
husband,
Lucas?
the Zoomer himself.
What's up, Lucas?
I met
hi,
Lucas.
Lucas.
But just the look of like, I love it. Yeah, you have still so much to learn, and just
And
I love the use of Yoda as a puppet, but also Yoda CGI. Like, it's the perfect mix of all of it. This is the best Yoda's ever looked in a movie.
I would hope
Just-
so.
I mean,
It's like the latest one.
yeah, but I mean, remember when they did just Puppet Yoda and Phantom Menace before they CGI'd over him?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just,
that was
just this.
just
this
throwing
right
that out
here.
there.
Okay, right here. No, like failure. No, Brandon, we're not listening to you. Just like
He's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I know, but like Yoda is talking to it. I want to hear Yoda, not Brandon.
You're on a
Then turn up
commentary.
your movie volume.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
it's
it's Brandon.
like that's
We have a
That's a
history.
great
The-
shot.
but that's the theme of the movie, and
We are what they
I-
grow beyond.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Phantom Yoda was a nightmare. It was horrifying. I remember
wasn't
seeing it in
alive.
theaters, and it was terrifying.
but that's
Yeah, I was
Brandon,
never
you make
scared of
all
Yoda
of
like that. I never looked at it that way.
perfect.
Yes, these chats are super loud. I don't know, I'll just turn down
True
the
or
YouTube.
false? Am I older or younger than the Phantom Menace?
Younger.
Oh shit! Wait! I got this.
Oh,
are-
don't
Yeah,
say
you,
that.
yeah,
You
you're
don't know.
I'm 2 months younger than the Phantom
So
Menace.
yeah, so is Evan. Evan is also younger.
I'm getting to that age where I start to hear like people younger than me reference stuff that I saw as a kid. I'm like, no, it's happening.
So what's terrifying is when Abby goes, the first bad movie I saw was Suicide Squad, and I go, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm like, man,
Jacob,
Hope
grab your cape.
2003 exists. Wait. Someone kick Brandon for that. I don't mind Phantom Menace Yoda.
It's
I
Get
don't
out.
fine.
either, dude.
It's
I'm not
fine.
booting him.
No, it looks great now because they CGI'd over it.
No, I'm not even
Okay.
talking the puppet.
Real
Yeah,
quick.
No,
It's
that
not
puppet
bad.
is that puppet is
Everybody-
terrible. That puppet is
Okay.
terrible.
Bad puppet.
Puppet.
DJ is about to say the best line in any movie that's ever been said. All right, I called it a
Say
little
it right
bit early,
now,
so I don't.
Say
Finn, let me learn you something big.
You know what, Brandon? Real quick, I just want you. You can do all the chaos in the Schmodown you want. Leave us alone. We don't need your chaos on this channel. I'm glad you're here, but don't
Okay.
make
Okay.
us fight.
Same
together.
thing.
PJ,
What?
everyone calm
PJ.
down. Everyone shut up.
Don't kick the hitman off
Damn
the
it.
stream.
I'm not going to kick him off. I'm just saying, don't stir chaos on us.
I'm here for the chaos.
So this
Of course.
moment right
Jesus.
here, again, is the other embodiment of what this movie's trying to do. Of the good guys don't just be good guys. Like those who profit off. This is a war movie. People profit off of both sides of the war. Ah, that's such a good line. All right, I can rest now. I won't talk for the rest of the movie.
No,
Oh, God.
the best scene in the movie.
Brandon, I'm not turning on you no matter how much you want me to. You can tell me to go back to writing questions or whatever else. I'm never going to hate you. Just whatever.
Oh, it says I like Yoda. Cry about it. It's fucking brilliant.
This fucking guy out here.
Oh my god. His sideburns are kind of aggressive. I would just like to.
If he
They're not
looked
that
like
aggressive in any other sequel movie.
No, he looks gross, and like
It's
I
great.
feel like that's the point.
Oh my god! Whoa! Did you see the dolly in there?
You know what a dolly is?
Yes, Abby. I have taken film classes. Believe it or not. God damn. I halfway know what I'm talking
Justin,
about.
that is the second time you agreed with him, even though you've said not to agree with him. I just want that
I
pointed
love
out there.
that line. And him finishing it.
Yep. Again, he doesn't learn. Like he hasn't. He
He's not there yet.
no.
Brandon took a stage lighting class.
That's important. Lighting's important.
Lighting is the key to
Oh, see?
Everything.
beautiful
Nothing.
movies. That's
Remember when we were talking about tantrums earlier?
every
That's yeah. that's a
good
tantrum
DP
too.
is a good gaffer, and that's the T.
Very
So.
true.
Dude, Yoda has a great story in Clone Wars. The final 3 to 4 episodes of season 6. Just saying, I agree. I
Yeah.
think Yoda
Oh,
had
yeah.
an amazing Clone Wars arc. I mean,
Yeah.
I also think that Clone Wars, their last 4 episodes are some of the best Star Wars has ever been, and that's just facts.
Well, no, because it's funny. It's referenced in episode 3 whenever Yoda goes, Obi-Wan, I have learned a way to communicate with the dead or mortal life or some shit like that. And then
Yeah.
learned about it in Clone Wars. It's
That was
great.
the way to,
Well-
to do a Yoda voice.
Just remember, also, Revenge of the Sith's novel actually had Yoda talking to Qui-Gon. Like, that's an entire thing that was just cut from the movie.
That probably would have really helped the film.
Yeah, there's a deleted scene. You can see it. It's on the Blu-ray, I'm pretty sure, still. Just sans the actual Liam Neeson voiceover.
So is that the first time we see Chewie in this movie?
No.
No.
Are you watching
He's
it?
been
Jesus, you're not watching this movie, are you?
He literally kicks down the door at the beginning. And
I was like,
This is
Crystal
how
tries to eat a porg.
Hey, guys.
Tip
in
yourself
all
literally in a container to the guy that you want to go meet into enemy territory. You
Look.
just ship yourself right
In all
there.
fairness,
Kylo,
I've
I'm
been
coming for you.
in the chat and
Real
stuff.
quick, Taylor, your mic has been a little quiet for.
I love Revenge of the Sith. Oh, you're talking to Evan? Probably.
All the way up.
Of course, Goddard's in here saying the Tarkovsky Clone Wars is better than the CGI one.
Jesus, come
Still
on.
a little quiet.
Come on, dude.
What's the name of the?
Do some tech
I
triage.
love they just fucking
Oh
shows
wait,
up.
Jacob, it is the new mic.
Revenge of the Sith is an amazing movie.
It is. I really love Revenge of the Sith. I saw that movie 7 times in theaters because I never thought we would see another Star Wars movie in theaters.
That's insane. That's ridiculously insane, and you need a sedative.
I was 15 when it came out. Pump the brakes. Calm down.
The movie that
I-
I've seen the most in
you-
theaters is Happy Feet. I saw it 3 times, and I decided never again.
I
Wow.
saw Return of the King 9 times in theaters. So,
I
you
think I
know.
saw Incredible
9 times Return of the King?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
What's the
Holy
point?
shit.
I still
Because I
believe
like
that
going to the
Revenge of
theater.
Sith.
Come on.
Yeah, but like
Brandon.
9 times?
Yeah,
Brandon,
but
it depends on what ice cream.
you have to understand, it's in the same. The Return of the King thing was the same reasoning of Revenge of the Sith. I never thought we'd get another Middle Earth movie. I never thought we'd get another Star Wars movie. Take it in as many times as possible on the big screen to remember that and how it felt.
Okay, this is the biggest problem I think with this storyline. Like,
Brandon,
Holdo
please bring me
should
ice
say at
cream.
this moment.
What?
Brandon, shut up. This is the biggest moment that I think like this storyline has a problem of. Holdo should be like, there is a plan. Sit down.
God damn,
Okay.
Parker.
We're not going to hear every.
Sorry,
We're not
this
going to hear
shot
every
of
chat.
is
It's
amazing.
so
Comment.
good. Oh, I love it.
The editing of this
Yeah.
film is probably like one of the strongest editing wise too.
Oh,
I think
easily.
it might be the best in this series. I think Diego said earlier in the chat that he thought it was one of the best edited blockbusters of the 2010s, and I agree.
I will say that it's one of the best blockbusters of the 21st century.
I mean, yes.
Like top 3, probably.
Now the chat is fighting with itself. My God.
Fighting with my family.
You guys, we were doing so well, chat.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Come on.
It's because
Abby,
Brandon
it's
Hanna
funny-
showed up.
It's interesting that you say like that this movie is such like a film school kind of movie, because I think you would also really appreciate Looper, Rian Johnson's last movie, because
Or
I feel
Brick.
like that is all. But mostly like Brick too, like all of his movies, but like
Guy.
Looper especially has that moment. I know, good scene. I
Guy.
recommend Looper. It's a very film school movie.
Looper's great,
In a
but
good
shut
way.
the fuck up. The scene is happening.
Best scene in the movie.
You guys aren't allowed to
Mention
cut Looper through my Raylo scenes.
Help you. I saw it. That's funny.
See, I get what Robert's saying.
Stop showing the comments.
I
We don't
always,
care what movie you saw 10 times.
I always show the comments. You relax.
I know.
They're always here for us. We can be there for them.
I appreciate that.
Oh, that reveal. Woo!
Yeah, this is
Oh,
Spicy.
See?
this
Okay,
whole sequence, man. Oh,
not
And
only
this line.
this whole sequence is still there is still nearly an hour of this movie left. Like
It's-
I was sitting in the theater going, "There's still 45 minutes. What the fuck is
This
thing?"
movie has the audacity, that like the confidence to have the climax of any other movie in the middle of it before it like
Is this
ramps
the
up to the end. No, it's not, but it like could be the climax of any other movie.
It's very Rian Johnson-esque in that case. The whole
Yeah, of just
subversion
like
presentation.
there's something bigger going on. Yeah, but that's such a dumb phrase.
I love this scene
No, it's not.
where there was actually a purpose behind why he
Yeah.
needed that, and then he
Yeah.
actually gives
Gives it
it back.
mhm.
But
Like
then he
that-
also turns out to
I mean,
be
even
a jerk. Like
even
that's great.
he still does what he does at the end of the movie, but he does grow at least a little bit because he does help them in the long run.
but I don't even know if that's true.
Doesn't.
I think that's more of just him being the great character. Like he's doing what he's doing to achieve what he wants at the end of the day.
And I'm okay with that because remember, I support criminals. Apparently, is the takeaway.
DJ does not grow one iota, dude.
But he's also not completely cruel and terrible because he gives it back to her.
That's my point.
We're allowed to talk for 5
But
seconds.
Taylor,
But,
I'm with you though. That's what I'm saying.
But like any lesser movie would have him do that, then he's part of the team. Rian Johnson's smart enough to be like, no,
That's
this guy's
the guy
still
from
a
Mamma Mia
scoundrel.
too.
If
It
you
is the guy
show
from Mamma Mia too, by
one
the way.
more
Yes, Abby.
brain,
The more you
Mamma
know.
Mamma Mia 2 is
We
fucking
lost Hogue.
of a movie.
Did we?
No, we didn't.
Wrong.
I think he
Like,
muted him.
No, he's frozen, bro.
Not for me.
No, it's moving. He has us all fooled. Can you hear us though? Frank,
him and me.
Frank, Jing,
Or
and
Frank.
Janisch. are you here?
What do you need?
Nothing. You just looked frozen to us. That's all.
In this moment here, where everybody says the plan failed, so this whole subplot was pointless, it's like every character learned something from this.
Well, and that's why I think that the Canto Bite stuff is, it's your mileage may vary, of course, but I think it's very important overall to the just narrative of the film and also the characters. Like,
'Cause-
it's important. Without that scene, Finn doesn't grow. He doesn't learn from Rose. It's very important.
Right.
Every
But even with that, from a pacing perspective, you need that quick little breather because I like looking
I
back. I thought the cancel
agree.
beats. I thought the cancel bite scene was a lot longer than what it actually is.
it's not as long.
It is. It is nice.
There
It's, it's a good like breath of fresh air.
This moment, all the Canto Bite stuff that led to this moment for Finn facing Phasma, beautiful.
Beautiful. But it's like every blockbuster has led up to has made people believe that it's all like leading to something. Whereas this movie is like, no, sometimes characters make mistakes and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's not all part of the plan.
I love the look of disappointment on her face.
She fucking said, "Yeet."
Evan, go back to elementary school.
Oh, that's so good. That's so fucking good.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Abby says she doesn't have time to talk on
You
the
don't have
screen.
to expose me like that.
We're about to experience the moment that left my entire theater speechless.
Oh,
It's coming.
Quick, Abby, say something.
The
needle drop.
Oh no, this movie's about failure.
That's apparently all the chat wants to talk
Guys,
about now. Is the movie
I'm
being
just
failure.
joking.
One
I respect
more
all of your
Brandon-
opinions.
Abby, am I about to be enraged by an opinion?
No.
Guys, we have women who care about each other talking to each other in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, but
Name,
Taylor,
name
what
all
guy
the
do they
movies that
want?
passed the Bechdel test in Star Wars.
I know.
Ready, go.
Yeah,
This
but
one
like, wait, no.
and
But, like,
scene.
Wait, who's their love interest? I don't get it. I don't understand like what's going
I know,
on if they're
right?
not fawning over a guy.
I don't get it either, man. Doesn't
Like,
make any
listen,
sense.
Lucas coming for me always. Oh my god.
I know
I
he went
will
for the
lay. I will drool over Oscar Isaac any day, but like the fact that they're not like fighting over him, I don't get.
Dude, Andy
Anxiety.
Serkis. I just realized this is the second movie this week that we've watched that Andy Serkis was in, and he's still awesome in both of them. Like Andy Serkis is just a great character actor. And just
That
a great actor.
line, but like that line of like darkness rises and light to meet it is so influential to Star Wars in a way that I don't think people like appreciate.
Also, Robert
Jacob,
Parker says, I don't think. Hold on, really quick. Robert Parker says, "I don't think you can be enraged, my opinion, when you don't listen low key." And then Adelaide also asked, "What scene are we at? We are about at the throne room scene."
like at the throne room scene.
Yeah.
I think Joe.
Which is time code if you're curious. 1:30.
No, the chat should tell them because remember we're ahead and they're not.
Yeah.
Not true.
Jacob, you
Sorry.
had a point. What do you got?
No. What? Oh, the scene on that they have on the Blu-ray though if you want to see power acting, is they've got this on the Blu-ray. They've got basically this scene, but without the CGI on Andy Serkis, and it's just Andy Serkis with the motion capture doing this scene, and it is fucking perfect.
It's just he works with or without like the digital makeup on him. It's also Rian Johnson's talked about Kylo Ren in the scene, and every shot of him, which for any other big blockbuster would just be a generic like reaction shot, is him plotting what to do, and you can see that intention in his eyes.
Yeah.
Me.
The one thing.
Yeah, Matt Whitehurst is right. There's no way around it that Caesar is one of the great performances that he's ever given. He should have been nominated for an Academy Award by the time they got to war. But
so something with the throne room scene. I guess we're gonna spoil something, but like, for the most part, most of us saw the movie. The thing that I don't understand, and maybe like I'll rewatch and get a better guess. I don't know how Snoke doesn't predict the fact that Kylo's going to turn on him, especially when Snoke has had distrust.
Because it's the hubris.
Oh my God, Evan. No. No.
Oh my God, Evan. Jesus.
Evan. Oh my God.
Oh,
God damn it, Evan.
Oh, dear child.
I bet you don't even know how to wipe your butt after you use the toilet. You're so
Evan, have you even seen a movie before?
What's the alphabet? You probably can't get past B.
Wow, that was a little
but Evan, like to your point, I think like that's kind of the character purpose that Snoke serves in this movie, is that he's an old school villain that really is kind of uppity and thinks that because I'm the villain and because I'm the black, and like correct me if I'm wrong, but like I think that's kind of what people were upset about, of like, why doesn't he have like a greater scheme? Because Rian Johnson's like, we don't really have service for these kind of villains in these movies because they're kind of generic. They kind of like are hoity-toity of like.
No, the reason why I ask is because like in the movie, like when I saw it the first time, it works, but like now, like when I'm thinking about it, like, because Snoke was already pretty like sus of Kylo as it was. It was like, this is the person who I have, and I have to deal with it as it is. But whenever, especially when you have these Force connections, and maybe it's my misconception of how the Force is working in this movie specifically, and maybe I'm connecting it too much with the Empire. I'm not going to talk about that third movie, but like Snoke was the big bad. So I was thinking like, to a point, Snoke would at least be in tune enough to be like, Kylo might turn on Snoke and like be more careful of it. But I'm going to see how it plays out. It's just something to think about.
But you have to remember that Kylo obviously knows that Snoke's completely in tune to him, so he would be thinking what he wants Snoke to hear, if that makes any sense. Like, he's had Snoke in his head basically his whole life, so he would know.
It's also
Adelaide
doesn't think that
I know are EVANN. That's it.
I don't think Snoke has any. Like, he doesn't think that Kylo has any other ideology than wanting to be bad. And, like, as long as Snoke thinks, like, as long as I'm the biggest bad, he's not going to circumvent me. Whereas, like, Kylo is conflicted with a lot of, like, internal damnation. And, like, Snoke brings it up, but to him, it's all in service of the Empire and the First Order. Whereas he can't think deeper.
The other thing, though, that I think he also has this, like, he thinks Kylo is weak. So even if he saw, Kylo's could have the opportunity to do this, he won't do it because he's weak.
Yeah, he calls him a child, so he doesn't really have a lot of confidence in him betraying him because he doesn't see him as strong.
That's so good. That's so good.
Bang.
That would hurt. Like, a lot.
Yeah, fool.
This whole moment.
Very valid point to like make, because I think a lot of people took umbrage with that point of how could Snoke kind of be that throwaway and careless.
So,
and I think that's Rian Johnson being like, we don't have room for those kind of villains.
Real quick, this is such a great callback to Return of the Jedi, and I think it was much better handled in this movie than another movie, of showing what is happening to your friends and what does this moment mean for the future of an entire movement almost.
Can we also talk about how Kylo's lightsaber, like Rey can call it to her,
Yeah.
because not everyone can always call a lightsaber to them, but his will go to her in that moment. I think that's something to think about.
As much as this movie is like a parallel to Empire, it has a lot of Return of the Jedi in it, especially this scene mirroring the Emperor scene.
Hey, Brandon, maybe we're not talking about that movie, and maybe we're trying to forget that was there.
Then why are we showing his comments, PJ? Let's ban Brandon from life.
I love that shot so much.
This moment, this is, I think, one of my favorite theater moments ever. Like, just sitting there, absolutely, like on the edge of my seat, going, "What the hell?"
Yeah, the thing is pretty good here.
So, what I want to ask, going around in a circle, I'm going to start with Abby. When we all watched this in theaters, what was your reaction in this moment? Because it was such a weird, game-changing thing for the series, because none of us expected Snoke to die. Spoiler alert for anyone in the chat who's never seen it.
If you haven't seen this movie before, watch The Last Jedi and then come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the middle of us watching.
Right.
So,
yeah, kills his true enemy. The music here.
I'm really glad that we had this conversation. Great job, guys.
Oh, okay. Well, to answer, I think it just shows. It's just so good because it shows that it's truly about Rey's journey and Ben's journey, and not about the big bad in terms of having a big bad for three movies.
Absolutely. Me. I don't disagree with that at all. I'll go up to Taylor.
Oh gosh. I just remember definitely being shocked because it really felt like it was set up for him to be the big bad that kind of hung over all three movies. And then when that happened, I was really excited because I went, clearly the focus of the story going forward is going to be about Rey and about Ben and what they choose to do, and not just surrounded around defeating this big bad. It's going to be a lot more character driven in terms of our actual main protagonist. I mean, I guess you can call Kylo an antagonist, because I don't really want to call Ben a villain in this movie. I think he's more of an antagonist for a lot of reasons, but it was definitely that, they're working together, and Kylo or Ben, whatever you want to call him, chose to make, he's the one that chose to make that decision. Wherein I think a lot of the other movies, you'd see Rey make that decision to kill him, and then Ben would be forced to kind of go along with whatever that is. And they really kind of flipped it.
Frankie,
real quick, this fight is incredible. Can we acknowledge that?
Yes, this fight is.
I don't think we were ever going to acknowledge that, Hogue, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, I think it's.
No, go ahead, Abby.
Oh, never mind.
You sure?
Yeah.
He was.
I love that so much.
Frankie numbers.
Yeah. So when Snoke died, I was like, "Sweet, we are definitely making Kylo the big bad." That's what I thought at the time, and it's like
2017 was a different time.
Yes, it
sure
was.
I was like, I am so down for 100% dark side Kylo. He's fully, giving himself over, and he's gonna rule the First Order and all that. I was like, I can't wait to see what he looks like in Episode 9 as the dude all in charge, and that's what I thought at the time.
Especially by the end of the movie, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Pet Hogue.
That was never going to happen, but okay.
Well, that was that's where I was.
I said Pet Hogue. Okay, great, Jacob.
All right,
Jacob Blunden is from Rochester, New York. We love to see it.
So
listen, I want to get past this. Go ahead, Jacob.
Okay, so in this.
This real quick though. This moment.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
let's acknowledge real quick how awesome this fight is first.
Yeah,
we cannot talk over this next scene. I thought it was cool that Snoke died. I thought it was new, unexpected things, and I was excited for what the rest of the movie was going to be. But this next scene is literally the biggest scene that's ever happened in a Star Wars movie.
I don't think that's true, because when Darth Vader told Luke that he was his daddy, I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, fair. Second biggest scene in the Star Wars movie.
Darth Vader's Luke's dad.
Yeah.
Whenever
I know, right?
For the first time,
that makes he's not never mind.
Not even his stepdad, biologically.
He's not even a clone.
Not
No.
even a clone. Like,
Guys,
they just what's up?
guys,
What?
shut up.
What is it, Hogue?
This
Oh.
scene, guys, come on. This is like the point of this movie.
I've seen it.
I think we've all seen this movie at least twice plus.
Yeah, but
Like,
like we're watching
so
it now.
good.
Let's talk about it.
It's
Like,
so good.
They're both
is-
amazing in this sequence, like so much. And
I mean-
again, credit to Ryan.
Of the sequel trilogy, this is like my favorite scene, though.
Oh,
Of the sequel
it's so
trilogy.
good.
Yeah.
this is the moment where like you buy. They might switch sides, both of them.
Well, and even the details in the background with the embers and the flames and
Yeah.
everything falling around them.
Guys,
This-
I'm pretty sure
okay.
that we're underselling. Hello there, General Kenobi.
Wait, Evan, like hold up real quick. This delivery of this line of saying they were nobody, they were nothing, you're nothing. He's negging her so hard, but like so plays into that like I can manipulate. Like this is why like Raylo I don't think ever works because he is so
Pat?
emotionally. Listen, I get it.
No,
I
Pat,
saw the shirtless
no.
scene. I took
No.
off my pants for that scene.
no.
But right now, he is being way emotionally and manipulative to
No,
her.
he's
This
not.
is not
He's
okay.
saying
Yes,
no,
it
no.
is. She
No,
is
he's
vulnerable. She is
Patrick,
Taylor.
he is saying that she means everything to him. Get out of here.
No,
You
not
know,
yet.
Han
Oh no,
Solo.
he doesn't.
Well, you can't come in here and say that Raylo doesn't mean
They're
anything. and
both
not expect
equally
me to argue
toxic
back.
for each
No,
other.
Shut up.
I agree with Abby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He's
probably
a
more.
murderer.
Oh,
villain.
I don't think I can agree with that. When his Black Klansman performance exists, him and Black Klansman is
What?
absolute flames.
Yeah, but he didn't kill Han Solo in Black Klansman.
I mean,
Like he is taking advantage of Rey right now. Like
Also,
that's
this
he's
is
like
the
you
point.
are vulnerable,
The chat
and Rey is
saying-
strong enough to be like, I'm not falling for it. You like nigger.
What?
Where'd they go?
My points were too hot. They were
Anyway.
too.
Anyways, so my thing with the thing that had happened before about 5 minutes ago, when I first saw it in the theater, I was confused. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Because I was too deep into the film space at the time. I'm like, this, and I got the throne scene was hyped up for me too. I'm like, the throne scene, let's go. Because they were talking about it, like, just remember throne room, throne scene. And all of a sudden it happened. And I'm like, what the fuck? They just killed Snoke. And I wasn't here for it. And I'm like, no, this was supposed to be the guy. And then, like, on second watch, I was like, all right, let's go. But, like, the first watch, I'm like, fuck.
It's
was so
intense.
Gonna, like, destroy us all.
Real
But no.
quick, we gotta pay respects to this moment that's about to come up.
you know, as that was happening when she's turning the ship, I was like, how come I never thought of that? Like,
And you know, it is one of the things of like, at least someone did.
yeah,
like,
right.
Came up with it.
Yeah.
But it's every storyline is culminating at this one point, and it's just such effective storytelling that this moment.
And the silence. The silence. Ah! Rian Johnson. Woohoo! Yes.
I love how you were screaming the word silence through that. You're like, it's so quiet. It's so effective when there's no sound. Isn't it great when it's like not at all like loud?
Hey, the Trulies are starting to hit. We're feeling good.
Jesus.
But like that is a moment that will live in Star Wars history that is such a Rian Johnson thing. PJ, you haven't said a lot in this last little bit. What are you feeling? What's going on?
I mean, I'm taking in the movie. I fucking love the movie, and I love this whole sequence. And
No shadows.
this
shadows.
whole scene is really, for me at least, Finn's like big character moment outside of obviously what we get on Crate. But him going up against Phasma is just so good.
Have you seen the deleted scene?
Yeah.
Of him like. I get why they cut it because it like affects the pacing. I kind of wish they kept the deleted scene where he like calls her out on her cowardice in Force Awakens of like the second I put a gun to your head, you lowered the shields and like doomed your entire planet. This moment is great of him fighting her, but like there's a really good Western style scene that was cut from this moment.
Bro,
But I remember this being
my favorite thing. John Boyega is a fantastic actor, and I will stand by this.
No one here is going to argue. I think that John Boyega is a great actor. I mean, he's great.
I think they want to go take a quick break, Robert.
That'd be great.
Sometimes we have bladders. I'm just assuming that's what it is.
I think that overall the trilogy wasted Gwendolyn Christie, but
I don't
Definitely.
disagree with that.
What was that, Abby?
Definitely.
I think this trilogy wastes Gwendolyn Christie.
It's so set up for her to come back that like and have that culmination of like 2 movies of failure. But the fact that it doesn't is
Yeah.
a bummer.
That's all we get of her face.
Yeah. Rebel scum. His character arc, he becomes a rebel at this moment.
Don't mention Westerns and Star Wars in the same sentence, or the internet guy will get angry. I've already done it multiple times. It's my favorite pastime. The Mandalorian is a Western. Change my mind.
I mean, Star Wars pulls from everything, like Westerns especially. See, this moment does feel a little weird. Again, it's the Rian Johnson human people on CGI backgrounds.
Yeah, I think that comes with practice, though. There's like, if you're to look like at a bunch of like directors' first like big movie, like even if you look at the Avengers, Joss Whedon's Avengers, like that movie,
That
graphics
snook body shit is pretty fucking graphic. If you ask me.
I agree. I don't. It's
Like,
maybe
holy
one
shit!
of the
It just
most
flopped
graphic.
over a half that severed body. It's like I get it.
I mean, Star Wars does go there of like, you think of Revenge of the Sith and literally like Anakin burning alive like next to a pit of lava. I saw that I remember seeing that in theaters, like going home and having nightmares.
Let's finish this. Let's fucking go.
Okay, Evan.
I get the point of this
This
next
whole
line.
sequence.
It always felt weird to me.
I love it because it's Kylo taking full command, and
Yeah,
No,
just him being-
I get the point of it, but him saying the Supreme Leader is dead, and then him responding with "Long live the Supreme Leader." It's like, okay, I get you're calling Kylo the Supreme Leader. I don't know. It's just a weird like 2 lines to go next to each other for me.
I don't know. I think it works because Kylo at that time is taking full control of everything. I mean,
I agree.
Great shot.
Also, what would have been interesting. I don't
these remind me of Pokemon, by the way. I love the foxes. They just remind me of Pokemon, though.
But what would have been interesting is if we would have saw Leia die due to Luke dying at the same time, because they were so strongly connected by the Force. They birthed together, they die together, like something sort of that kind of thing. I don't know if it's the right move, but I think it would have been something interesting. Because remember whenever Leia was like getting close to die, Luke felt that shit. Luke was like, Leia, and then she gained her feet again. But imagine if
that's
he
never
had
been
died, she died right there too.
That's never been a thing in Star Wars of like, because someone died, that just caused another person to die.
But it could have been due to pain or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
That could have been interesting.
it would. I feel like it also would have been felt weird just the fact that Carrie Fisher died. Like, you had to put it in there arbitrarily that she had to die somehow. I like that she makes it through this movie and it feels like a complete story for her. I also love how old school the tech is and how much it feels like a throwback to like original Star Wars.
Right.
Leia, I'll use your personal code. Let's do it.
Also, I want to shout out how Robert Parker called me out for getting drunk on Trulies. Yet he's out here saying the most whack shit in the chat right now.
If you
I gotta say.
realize he's just only speaking in Star Trek Nemesis quotes.
But who wants to do that?
I wouldn't have picked up on that. That is incredible. That like Abby, well done.
No, he said that in the chat. I just
No,
wanted
I
to
know. No, I know, but like the fact that like Star Trek and Star Wars is being used as a warring bodies. Come on, guys, we're the rebellion. Like now left on our last legs to like carry this commentary through. Let's.
So this battle screams Hoth so much.
Again, another parallel to Empire of just, and it's such a smartly designed kind of idea that there's red underneath this white, and like it looks like the planet bleeds on top of anything getting attacked.
Right.
And Finn has a new like ideology. He's a rebel now. Let's fight for this.
Even just where Ryan chooses to put the camera just makes everything in the battle scenes so much more personal.
There was a hand. Sorry, Abby.
Oh no, you can go.
There was a handheld shot, which like is one of like the two in this entire movie.
Gareth Edwards, shout out.
Yeah, he reacts the way that
Soldier 5. So just saying.
Oh, whatever.
Why would you taste the dirt? That's weird.
Whenever I see white dirt, I always taste it. I don't want you.
Yeah, you don't eat snow.
You know, mud, white mud. Did you say this is mud? No, I said this is crud. What's that from, PJ?
Either way, it's still dirt. You're looking off the ground.
Oh, PJ's not here. I didn't even notice.
Well, what was the quote? I'm sorry. I'm coming back right now.
Would you step in some? Would you say you stepped in some mud? No, I said I stepped in some crud.
I recognize it. I can't tell you off the top of my head. God
Black sheep.
Oh, you're right. That's correct. I love a little bit of Chris Farley.
Not the exact
Kevin Smets is a Raylo stan, and that's just another reason why he's iconic.
But like Abby, he would not be a good boyfriend. All right, like he would be so like condescending and so like kind of passive aggressive.
I didn't say I want to date him. I just think that there's
she can do better. She got Poe right there.
Poe has Finn, okay? Let's be real.
I will say, coming out of Last Jedi, I wasn't a Raylo, but the other movie really sold me on it. I'm not gonna lie. They got me good.
Yeah.
I was like, damn,
I mean,
they got me good.
Yeah. I think that there's something that Ben Solo, like, the journey that he's on, I think is something that only Rey can relate to. And I think they bring out the best in each other.
I get that. And I think that fits a lot more to, like, Rey being just so good as a person, like, internally of, like, you're not as good as you think. Like, you're better than you think you are. Like, there's goodness in you that I can pull out. But he is kind of like the bad boy of, like, can you not just be as kind of dickish as you are sometimes? Because I just want to, like, show you, like, you know poetry. You know, like, cute, fun things. And he's like, you didn't have parents. I get that. Let's hang out and, like, you know, like, talk about it. And you're like, Finn, or not Finn, like, Kylo.
This moment with the Porg is one of my favorites. The Porg trying to go to war is just so good.
Frank, can you do a Porg impression?
Definitely.
Can you do it on the show?
Oh, on the show.
No, Frank, he's the mystery.
It's not bad.
No, that wasn't the full thing, but you know, I'm working on it.
You just gotta fucking go with it. You just gotta.
Yeah.
Someone donate a Streamlab. So
yeah,
$50. I'll do it. $50.
$5.
No, I said 50.
Well, not 5. All right,
because I said
it is.
Because that's how much I don't want to do it, Evan. Is that not clear?
I mean,
if I wanted to do it, I would be like $1.
Guys, this is the best Porg moment of hitting the window and like.
Also, one of my favorite sequences in the entire movie is inside here. This is great because the music.
It's so
I know
pretty.
it's a great. Again, this
Oh.
movie has a lot of really great callbacks to Return of the Jedi that I think get overlooked a lot. This is one of them for me because this reminds me of the trench run in the second Death Star once they get inside, and it's just so good.
Same music.
Man. Yes, exactly, and that's why it works. Ryan knew what he was doing.
Oh yeah.
There's a reason that I think a lot of people think this feels more like a finale than it does an actual second chapter, which I can understand. But it's just so good. I think it works in all the right ways.
And it's like the initial rumors, the story that came out, that was Rian Johnson was going to write and direct episode 8 and write episode 9. And early throughout the process, he realized that if he's not going to direct 9, he really wanted to funnel all those ideas and like really make this a complete movie in and of itself. And so you can tell that this movie, good comedy, Hux, like you can really tell that this movie feels like a complete package because all of his ideas just kind of like fit into this one. All right, people, come on. Let's talk about this. What's going on?
Oh, you don't have anything to say?
I'm just picking up the slack.
That was
dude.
No, honestly, this right here is where you see Finn, obviously, come full circle with where he stands in terms of what he'll fight for, what he'll run for.
And
what
just,
do you stand
know,
for? What do you fall for? You won the war.
Another Hamilton. Evan.
It's one to watch on, bro. You know this.
But again, and this is the culmination of Poe realizing what it takes to be a leader, Finn realizing what it takes to have an ideology, Rose standing up for the ideals that other people are going to challenge, but knowing that they're better than everything else, and Rey fighting for, like, you know, her friends. Like, this is the emotional climax.
I love everything about this for Finn because, again, everyone who says he doesn't have an arc in this movie, this is the arc. He's finally willing to sacrifice himself for something. It's something he would not have done in the last movie or even at the beginning of this one. He was trying to run away. He was someone
they should have killed him here.
They should have killed him. I agree.
They should have killed him, and they should have blown open the door with it.
The fact that he was willing to die is enough character, like,
for sure.
The impact is still there.
That slide.
Rose's moment here, I think, is a little kind of hokey in a way that I don't like. Like this moment coming, this moment with Rose, like I like her line, I like the point of it.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say it before it happens, but like
the explosion.
Nah, not that. But like this moment of her, okay, she's passed out and she wakes up, and like has this moment.
Bye, Smets. Thank you for being here. Go enjoy the MCU.
Cheers, Smets. Have a corn dog for me. Thanks.
A corn dog.
Beautiful line, beautiful moment. It's embodying everything Rose stands for.
My friends might be dying, but I'm going to kiss you right now.
I don't know. I really do kind of wish that Finn had died in this moment.
Yeah.
Or Rose.
But just the fact that he was willing to sacrifice himself, though, I think is enough.
No, 100%.
No, it is. I mean, maybe I'm thinking ahead, but it's like, I don't think he's utilized in the right way, obviously. So
it's been so hard not to watch the movie and then think ahead to what happens next the whole time because I'm like, wait, what? No. Also, really quick, we got a Streamlab coming in from People 3, not People 2, but People fucking 3 donating.
The trilogy.
Tim Franco's here, and I love Tim Franco, by the way.
People 3.
Okay, guys, Luke Skywalker is about to talk to Leia. We gotta pay our respects because. You want to talk about me seeing Snoke die in theaters? I thought, like, cool moment. Didn't blow my mind, but I'm interested to see where it goes.
This moment right here, as Luke comes in,
is
so perfect. And just the cloak, everything about it, from the lighting down to how he's, in the cloak.
Rian Johnson understands what this is about to mean. And he shoots it the way that we want him to shoot it. Of like, this is Luke fucking Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker, motherfucker.
I never noticed when I watched this for the first time. Like, I was too dumb to notice that his hair was different.
I definitely knew something was going on.
Subtle. Yeah.
I knew that something was definitely. I'm like, how the fuck is this beard now? What did he get? Just from Men gel? Just, like, Just for Men hair coloring on his
Yeah.
beard. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
This-
I don't know.
This is arguably top 10 moments in all of Star Wars. It's the conversation. It's the what it means. I just love it so much.
Yeah. But this is the argument against everything that people have against this movie of like it doesn't understand Star Wars of this is Luke Skywalker being Luke Skywalker right now. This is the hero.
Personally speaking, I think what could have made this stronger, and I don't know if I agree with this idea, but I know it's like something that to think about is what if they had built on the facts like, oh, Luke did fuck over Ben, but in the first movie, so like this is becoming such a hard thing for him to face, but because we barely saw Luke in The Force Awakens, it's one of those things you just have to accept that this has been like destroying him for the past 30 years, you know, which I'm okay with.
That moment.
Shout out to the dice that only have emotional impact if you've seen Solo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the setup. That's the setup to make you care about Solo, of course.
Yeah.
Unless also you had a really good eye in A New Hope.
Yes.
His wink to C-3PO was so good.
I don't even know
Which
if
was
Kevin Smets knows.
ad lib.
Watch that right away. Or-
I love this shot of all of them looking and seeing him going out. It's just
It's the point of the movie. They're
I know.
seeing the legend of Luke Skywalker literally walking through the fires of hell to confront the bad guy, lone standing. It's about the imagery. It's about the ideology. And like this, him being gross at the beginning, him sucking the alien milk, him being like a hermit, all leads to this moment of him living the embodiment of the legend of Luke Skywalker.
I swear to God, Hogue, and I love
this
you.
is one of my favorite
Oh,
shots
this?
in Star
No,
all
like
Star
this is
Wars.
the one reason I love you for this. You sound like you'd be narrating a fucking book right now. This all leads up to this one moment where Luke Skywalker walks out.
Well, it does. This is
I know.
This is probably our biggest commentary we've ever done. And this
Right.
moment,
I
I
love
remember-
I love
Attitude
these.
from the Walker is just like,
Yeah, I was gonna say that I love the new versions of the walkers in these, like the almost ape-like quality of how they come around is just very cool.
Yeah.
they
When
look like
Some
some like petulant kid was like, "How do we make the walkers more badass? They can
Right.
look like gorilla." And it's just like it fits into the ideology of these new like kind of petulant like villains.
Just love
I
this
love
moment.
that they're still watching though, because like they honestly like still feel like he's a like the rebels still feel like there's like he's might be alive. Like
Yeah.
they're not. It's not a look of concern. It's just like what the fuck is going on.
also like if you came out of this movie like Kylo's gonna eventually turn, the dude just unleashed the entire army on his uncle, like
Mhm.
without remorse. And I was like, dude, that dude is so far gone. Like,
Yeah, no,
That's
he
Well, I
fucking
mean,
crazy.
and that's after killing his father and trying to kill
Yeah.
his mother. Like,
and
I get it.
without naming the movie that shall not be
Yes.
named.
oh,
Look
you
at
the
him
Rise of
walking
Skywalker?
out.
The original version had him not be redeemed. This moment is such.
Yeah,
I
so good.
squealed in
Hey, Hogue?
theaters.
I'm gonna stop you right there because Justin Hamilton donated $1, saying the greatest thing a Jedi has ever done is he gave the galaxy a chance without killing one person, only sacrificing himself. It's the moment that all Jedi should have gone for instead of saving themselves. They were made to protect, and they
Big
lost
comedy
sight
moment.
yeah.
Yeah. That's the movie.
Justin's 100% correct.
for the $1.
Like
Now, if you
everybody
wanted to
who
figure that one out.
I won't say it yet. I'll hold off. But like that thing of what Luke does for this whole thing is the most Jedi thing he could ever possibly do ever. And everybody who said, "What was the point of that?" Like everybody who says Rian Johnson doesn't get Star
Right
Wars.
there is Poe's art, saying to wait and say instead of shooting the gun. The patience. Woo!
Matt Whitehurst is asking, out of all the Star Wars stuff that Disney's done, what are your guys' favorite moments? There's so many. I mean, a lot of them are in this movie, but I think Rebels has done a ton. Clone Wars has done a ton. Like,
My post is right there. Anything in Rogue One makes me go nuts. Anything in that movie makes me go nuts. The dialogue in it is impeccable. And especially Donnie Yen's death. Woo! Woo! Anyways, let's
Like
focus
this
on
is
this.
this is the
top tier.
samurai / western right here.
mm-hmm. Good job, Poe.
And now Finn is at the position that Poe was at the beginning of the movie. Let's be a hero, and Poe's like, let's be a leader. And C-3PO is just being a thorn in the side.
Well, it's not like he's ever been that before in any of the other movies.
No, he's always been the hero, like Luke Skywalker. Gotta follow the Pokemon.
Chris, what kind of King Kong acid are you on right now? Honest to God. Con 33 is a movie, correct. But
Man, I just love in this moment where Leia does give him the authority and is just like, follow him. He's finally become the leader that I wanted him to become. Is so great.
And you know that guy that committed a mutiny earlier? Follow that dude.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like,
but it's Oscar Isaac. He's got the cheekbones to, make up for it. Like, look at that kid. But it's also the movie being like, hey, all these legacy characters that are from the original trilogy, it's now the next generation to start leading this story. Like, listen to Poe, listen to Rey, listen to Finn. We need to start moving Star Wars past who we are.
I can't wait till my desk comes in the mail. This sucks sitting on the floor.
What'd you say, Frank?
He ordered
I
a
can't
desk.
wait till I ordered my desk and chair for my new place, and it hasn't come in yet. So I'm sitting on the floor, and this kind of hurts.
let's fucking go. You know
I
what?
hope
The
you're chill,
dedication
though.
to Rian Johnson. Or it's might be the dedication to PJ. It's one of the
Well,
two.
I've been sitting on the floor since for 3.5 hours now.
Ew, unlucky. Yeah, how's the rundown today? How'd it go?
Watch it. Watch it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Was it a good show?
This
Find out.
You'll
whole
have to watch it.
sequence.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
God, I can't handle how good it is. The cinematography helps too,
It-
but it's just so good, you guys.
But it's like Rian Johnson understands the importance of what this means. And like Luke is
Again, with Kylo trying to murder his uncle in front of
Yep.
everybody. Like, what a good dude. He's definitely gonna turn.
I really want to see him kiss Daisy Ridley and because he's the embodiment of a good boyfriend.
Guys,
I don't want to see them kiss because he's the embodiment of a good boyfriend. I just
No, I'm being cheeky. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so snarky. It's just the last movie does a lot of work to not do what these movies did, which
Yeah.
is make it bad.
Because really, he was never headed down this path. Down the
Yeah.
path. You
What
know.
you just said was wrong. Just the way he delivers that. And hearing Binary Sunset playing. Oh my god.
It's
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
I love this moment so much, you guys.
I've actually just been watching it the whole time on subtitles. So.
I have it on too, but I can hear the music still.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you guys can hear it.
he cuts from Luke to Rey, like saying that this isn't the Last Jedi. Like this story does not end where it does. Abby, I heard that Kim Possible theme, and I saw your eyes shifting. Don't think that got past me.
I thought I had it on silent.
I mean, I like the Kim Possible thing. Don't get me wrong.
We stand this friendship.
Kiss, just kiss.
We also stand their off-screen friendship. That's like one of my favorite things. Whenever they do interviews with each other, it's just so wholesome. It's my favorite thing, dude. And he's so pissed in the scene.
He was like, I'm going to kill Rey. The girl that he loves? Come on. That's why I was like, what the
I'll always
kill
love
her.
you,
Oh, you will?
just like your father.
Maybe he kills Rey and then resurrects Darth Rey. That's what he means.
All right, down to the true Jedi, everybody.
And then there were 4.
Like, look at Adam. Like, this is one of Adam Driver's best performances as well. Of just, and the filmmaking of
You spoke too soon.
not
Yeah.
seeing Luke's reaction to like him affect the ground beneath him. And Kylo,
Also,
like,
Luke's outfit here is so badass. It is so Return of the Jedi-esque because that is when like Luke is peak badass and he goes back to like that darker look. It's
that's the whole
favorite
point. It's the whole point of just that Kylo is literally defeated by a motion picture of Luke Skywalker. Like, he's literally defeated by the embodiment of what we want Luke Skywalker to be in this movie. And that inspires the galaxy.
So good.
I mean, guys, come on. Like, this is... Why is no one reacting? Everyone
Because
looks
I'm
like...
watching the movie.
I'm watching the damn
Yeah.
scene. Hogue.
It's a
I love this
commentary.
scene.
Come on, let's talk about it.
I'm sorry, I'm caught up in it.
So am I. But, like, this is beautiful. You don't just, like, jump with joy? Like, this is such a moment.
My
I-
hero
I-
just died, Hogue. I'm gonna jump for joy.
He hasn't died
What's wrong
yet.
with you?
Don't get depressed yet. That's about to come. Hold that said.
I do think something to talk about though with this scene that is very important in terms of like callbacks is the two sons are like that's a metaphor for his journey as
Yeah.
opposed to other movies where someone might have something with two sons but that character has no significant connection to two sons, and I think that's just one of the reasons why this movie really gets stuff like this right.
Yes,
And
100%.
that's Rian Johnson of in the first Star Wars. He's looking left to right at the two sons, and now at the end of his journey, he looks right to left, like reflecting on his entire life. Like, this is the culmination of everything he believed in, and now it's beautiful. It's poetic. This is a Jedi, like, this is Luke dying with peace and purpose. This is the point of a Jedi. He saved the universe, the galaxy doing this. Like, that's with the idea of what Star Wars is.
If you ask me, it seems like Rian Johnson did his homework.
It's almost like Rian Johnson understands it.
It's like this movie is going to age with time in terms of the embodiment of what storytelling is.
It's almost like Empire was treated similarly when it came out and was divisive and then became very popular.
Yeah, it's like this movie is one of the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time. And that the online culture who didn't like it. I want to tackle. Don't want to do that. No negativity, guys. We
People are allowed to feel how they want to feel. I just think that there's a lot of people who don't necessarily. It's
the culture around it is built to not fall into the subtlety, and like I get that. Like we're very much meant to kind of have those teases and those moments to kind of have that instantaneous gratification. I feel like this movie really like wants you to sit with something in a way we're not used to.
The antenna.
This moment here too, I'm like, Daisy Ridley kiss Oscar Isaac, please. Give me the satisfaction. Somebody kiss Oscar Isaac. That's all I'm asking.
It should have been Finn. It should have been Finn.
It should have been Finn. I'm okay. I want to do it. Like, and that look from Rey right there of just seeing like what could have been with Finn. It's okay if it's not.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Peace and purpose, like a Jedi.
God,
And
this score.
It's like this movie started with a crawl that said, we need a spark to light the rebellion. And it ends with everything they need to start a rebellion. And any other Star Wars movie would have ended on that shot. And then we get this.
I just love this.
Yo, it's the Looper kid.
10
I just
comedy
love
bit.
that they're legitimately telling the legend of what Luke did on Crate. It's just so cool.
It's as if Star Wars has the ability to inspire like the youth to tell stories about it. Like everybody who says that this movie doesn't get Star Wars, like that's the point of it. It inspired the next generation of these kids to keep telling the story of Luke Skywalker.
One day there'll be an interview with this kid, and the interviewer will ask, "What were you thinking in this moment with the broom?"
He's probably gonna have a celebration meet and greet.
Yeah, he will. I do want that ring though. That's pretty badass.
And this whole scene makes Canto Bight worth it. Of, you know, these characters went on a side quest that inspired the galaxy.
Da, 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 da,
God, it's just so.
da, 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 da.
I don't get how you can look at this movie and not say that it gets Star Wars. I get it's challenging. I get it. It really puts you in a place where you have to question a lot of kind of preconceived notions of what Star Wars is, but it ends in such a place that is so triumphant and so encouraging to push Star Wars forward in a way that a lot of other movies just kind of leave you feeling kind of flat. That I get it. You know, we've experienced the movie that shall not be named that disappointed us. And I get being disappointed by one of these movies, but this one is a hard one to kind of not appreciate because of how special it is.
I mean, as you can see, I spent a lot of the last part of the movie just quiet because I think it's so contemplative and I get so wrapped up in what it's doing. And I just love what Rian was trying to do and push the entire universe forward. I mean, I don't think every series does that. I mean, look, it's going to sound weird, but I just rewatched legitimately all the Final Destination movies, and those movies don't necessarily try to evolve. Like a lot of horror franchises try to stay the same because that's what people like, but sometimes it's good to try to reinvent and try to do something different. And I think that Rian tried to do that while also, oh God, in loving memory of Princess is just
that's
it's trying to be a love letter to something that is been loved for so long, but also trying to push it forward in a new direction. And I think that sometimes it's okay to do that. You know, like I think that's a good thing. I think that it's good to try to take legends and change them and do something new with it. Now that we've revisited it, I'm going to go over to Abby. You know, what are your thoughts overall on what it does with Star Wars? Where does it leave you?
I think it's definitely just one of the best movies in terms of explaining what Star Wars is about and explaining, we kind of covered it a lot, but just getting into the inspiration that Star Wars inspires for sure. And I think even if I was feeling lukewarm about it when I first saw it, after like watching it a few times, you really get what Rian Johnson is going for with this movie for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. I'm going to go over to Frank now. You know, what are your thoughts now that we've done this?
I like The Last Jedi a lot. I like everything that it was doing in terms of advancing Star Wars mythology and lore. It felt all of it was really, if it wasn't new, it was definitely building upon things that had come before it. Also, I liked how it tied in some of things that happened previously within the franchise, obviously the prequel stuff and whatnot. I thought Star Wars was heading in an interesting direction after this one, which it didn't go in fully. But I will also say that, like, The Last Jedi doesn't have as much of a rewatchability factor for myself, even though I think it is the best of the three, which is interesting because I guess I kind of like my Star Wars a little more popcorn-y, if you will. Yeah. And this one is it's a quote unquote difficult movie because it really does challenge you in ways that the others really don't.
I think Empire is similar.
But Empire's a little bit. This one's is much more darker to me compared to Empire, what it's dealing with. because of all the themes that are involved in that and how it's conveyed to you. And even if you don't, for like instance, the Canto Bight stuff, like even if you don't like that stuff, the message that it's ultimately getting at is obviously very profound. It has meaning to our real world life. So I mean, I respect what it was done there in that instance. I also respect it fully for what it was, for all the things it was really doing. It's definitely like a highbrow Star Wars movie to me, comparatively speaking to other ones. So for that reason, like the rewatchability isn't as high, but I still think it's the best made Star Wars movie. It's definitely the best of the three. It's honestly, I will watch The Force Awakens more than I will watch this one, but I think that's because I'll probably be in the mood for just like dumb fun, which is fine. But these ones are definitely needed to advance and build upon mythology and lore and all that stuff. So I like it a lot, but
well, I mean, and I think you're 100% right. It's not necessarily fun. And I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars that was built off pulp cereal, right? I mean, that was one of Lucas's things. He wanted it to be like Flash Gordon, and it's not necessarily that in any way at all. And that's okay because it's trying to do its own thing. But yeah, maybe it's not nearly as fun to watch, but I think sometimes, again, it's okay to push things forward. Evan, what are your thoughts on it?
Before we move on, we had a donation coming from Tim Sim, $10 saying, I thought the division was generational between age groups, but it's more ideological when it comes to continuity, complexity, story, character scenes, etc. What do you think caused the divide? So who wants to get drunk? Who wants to do a drunk watch along with the Rise of Skywalker? You know what, Tim, that's all I'm going to say. It's just, you know what. But also, I think the division could have been through age groups. I've like begun to learn the more I'm like coming back to this whole podcasting space. Between me being like 19 years old and someone being 30, because like that's the basic age group of who I'm podcasting with as of recently. It's like there's a different way how we deliver what we're saying. Sometimes we could be saying the same thing, but what we're saying is, but how we're saying it is different, and it's causing us to clash. But it's an interesting point. Age groups, I think it is a true thing that can resonate. But also my just general thoughts on the film. I think it's really, really smart. It takes its time. But I think what Rian Johnson does maybe too cleverly from time to time is he closes his own story, which is fine. I love watching a Rian Johnson movie that is The Last Jedi, but it was so hard not to think about, damn, this is what happened in the next film. Not trying to mention it too much, but you get the idea. It's just like, why would they do this in the next film when we already had this set up? But it's such a good movie. Like the Battle of Crate is absolutely beautiful. It is stunning. Luke Skywalker, motherfucker, so good. And then the throne scene and the red dropbacks. I think my favorite thing that Rian Johnson does is he makes color so apparent. We had 3 big natural themed colors with 3 big different themes running along. So just shout out to Rian Johnson. That's all I got. I definitely rambled, but it was a good ramble.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we all have kind of brought our own sensibility. Hogue, you kind of talked about it up top, kind of your overall feelings of the film and where it leaves us all. And I think that that's why this movie is always going to be special. I think it's going to stand the test of time because I think it really has done so much for the series, whether people always see it or not. And I think that's really, really cool. So I'm really glad we did this. I'm glad that everyone hung out for 2
hold
hours.
on. Wait, I want to say my thing.
You kind of did up top, but okay, go ahead.
The whole time.
Now we watched the movie again. Like
Okay.
I want to I have a
What is it?
summation.
All right,
Like
go
what?
for it.
Yeah, no, this is damn near a perfect movie to me. This is like the embodiment. This is the movie that ruined kind of online movie punditry to me because it's weirdly a movie that made, and I don't want to inflate my own sense of what storytelling is or like, what big blockbuster movies is, because this is a movie that is embodiment of, you kind of take what you can get and you kind of take out of art and, different things, what you put into it. But it really felt like to me, like this movie was so willing to try to give you that fun, big experience that a lot of these blockbusters do on top of giving you that meal underneath to really dig in and be self-reflective and think about, why does this exist? why are we still fighting for it? And why do we, like, what is the purpose of this kind of content existing in, you know, a world where there are wars, where there are diseases, where there is all this conflict? The purpose of having these idealizations of hope to like strive towards can make us look at ourselves and inspire us to be better than they are. I think this movie is so important in a way that it doesn't get the appreciation that it does. And I think Rian Johnson doesn't get enough credit to how much he was willing to put his heart on the line for in service of inspiring people, knowing that he was tapping into very kind of sacred territory. And I like seeing this movie again, especially after watching all of his films and leading up to this, of this guy wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's willing to just kind of lay himself bare to what he believes to be ideologically true. And I happen to fall into what he agrees with in terms of his messages, and the people that don't, I don't want to say I feel bad for you. I feel bad that you don't see what I see, because like it feels so inspiring to me in a way that a movie like this exists, and the fact that it does exist in this big blockbuster like cultural thing going on, that this individual like filmmaker gets to be so impassioned and share like a perspective of humanity in a Star Wars movie, nonetheless, like, is something that artists should strive for. And I think this movie represents so much more than what it just does. And you know, there's been a lot building to this one commentary, and I'm excited that we're here, but you know, I'm ready to sit back and go on from here on out. But that's, you know,
this is gonna be cute. Next week's gonna be hella cute.
It's gonna be cute. I'm ready for it. This
Much
movie,
movie for him than this. I mean, this was going back down to closer to something like he did with Brick.
Also, really quick, Michael K donated $19.80, saying, having not gone back to rewatch any of the other films / TV series in the franchise because frankly I felt a little burnt out. Yeah, Clone Wars is a roller coaster. Watching The Last Jedi reminded me tonight why I love Star Wars. I'm glad we could all watch this together. This was a blast. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, dude. Like, movie's fun. Like, and
Michael Daddy Warbucks K.
A lot of fun. It is a ton of fun. Thank you so much, Michael K. I think it's time to ring it around the horn.
Yeah, I mean, we've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and all these people are still been here with us. So it's time to get everyone out of here. I'm going to start with Abby. Thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Thank you. Where can everyone find you online?
You guys can find me at Abigail Freel on all social media. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you again. Frankie, you were late, but you were here. Where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at FrankieJ29 and Schmidon Rundown.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Hogue, where can everyone find you?
Hogue_filmmaker on Instagram and Twitter, and check out my short films on my Vimeo at Patrick Hogue, and my latest short film, So, on Crypt TV's YouTube channel. We're almost to 200,000 views, and I will keep beating that drum until we get there.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you later. And Evan, take us through real quick for the week. Get us out of here.
Here we go. First, tomorrow we got going on. It is Saturday. We're playing Uno and Pictionary with some surprise guests. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. I'm really excited because Disney Pictionary, why the hell not? And then Sunday we're doing a PJ Campbell show of what you were talking about, the Snyder Cut, and also some just overall director's cuts. So far it's you and Maxwell. I'm going to convince myself to be on the first part because I really want to talk about the Snyder Cut. I think it's some really smart insights. So maybe I'm there. I don't know. Maybe PJ's like, screw you. We'll figure it out. Fuck it, do it live. And then Monday, we are going to be watching Atlantis: The Lost Empire. That is going to be very exciting. I haven't seen this movie. I've already said that, but I know people love it to death. So it's going to be a good time. Tuesday, I'm really excited. I'm interviewing Cyrus Cat. He is a man from France, Romania, but he lives in Gainesville, Florida now. He is one of the head TOs in the Smash community at the moment. Very excited. If you guys want a different perspective on what competitive gaming is like, I highly recommend checking out this interview. He is very impactful. And then Wednesday, we got Suddenly Soundtracks. It's the whole fucking shebang. Just take a look, screenshot it. Phantom of the Paradise is on the 27th with Rachel Silverstream, Video Drew, and Mark Hewitt. I know Chris Clark is really excited for us. That means you guys should be too. And then next, we have Thursday. They don't have the guests figured out, but go watch the last episode of Press and Max Allen. We actually have some trans representation on the channel, and I told both Max and PJ I was really proud of them for that, because that's really big, and especially in this community where it's not as represented, which baffles me from time to time. They went out and they went and did something dope. So last but not least, it's gonna be Friday. It's Knives Out. Guys, watch Knives Out with us, because who doesn't love Knives Out? Like, come on. And then on Saturday, we got nothing planned yet, but Brad Bird Month is happening along with Monster Movie Month. That's a halfway pseudo announcement. We're still trying to work out a few of the details, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. And yeah, I think that's kind of about it. I kind of like went through that shit. Like, oh, there's the thumbnail for it's a Snyder Cut, just the beginning. But that's kind of it. You guys can find me here at Degraff Live on Twitter. I had a good time. Obviously, I tweet things, I retweet things, I do things. And you guys can find me on the next episode. Who knows when? Just click on the channel.
Where can everyone find you, bud?
Degraff Live. I said so right there.
Okay, cool. Have a great night, my friend. Thank you again. Of course, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PJ_Campbell, and here kind of every other day or so, hanging out with these usual gang of idiots in the best way, watching movies, having a good time. Thank you again for everyone who is here, and we will see you next time on the next watch along. It will be a ton of fun. Atlantis is a blast. Thanks again, everyone. Bye.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dun 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 so long, ooh, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Oh, it's been great to play and sing together in the box, and now it's time to say goodbye. Boom, 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 boom. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Goodbye for now, until we meet again.